right, let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safer Liquid Beer for the podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
It's Matt Static, AM Radio.
It's the Cool Bed Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macramalla intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack a 6 o'clock and log you with some sirloin bites.
Good morning, everybody. What's going on? It is the AM Nasty, Dusty, and Lieutenant Eric with you.
What off-season?
What off-season? What off-season? Quick turnaround. Can you believe about the Hockey Hall of Fame? We'll get into that. Same thing every single year.
That hurts.
Alexander McGillney not getting in. That hurts. Brought to you by sb-llp.com. We'll get to all of that as we work our way through the show. If you're watching over on YouTube today, let's hammer that thumbs up. Thank you very much for being here. Life does go on, and we're going to take a little bit of a trip down old memory lane in the from the playoffs today. 6 o'clock hour is going to be a lot of fun for you today. You're going to like the 6 o'clock hour. We're coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio, where the boneless wings are now in the house at Popeyes. Hello. That's right. If you love the bone-in wings, you are also going to love the bone-out wings. Boneless wings, now available, all the same wonderful flavors at all Popeyes locations. People are saying I'm wearing my farmer shirt again. I've got so many more shirts that are way more farmish than this. That's a guarantee. This is my cool guy shirt today, and let's not mistake that.
Your cool guy shirt. As somebody points out, farming the likes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, on the YouTube, maybe that's the...
Ever since I started to learn PowerPoint, I've started wanting to look cool, too. So this is me.
That is a PowerPoint type of presentation shirt there, I should say.
Thank you, Eric. Maybe today I will run a PowerPoint presentation on the show. Why not? Who knows? Anyway, if I'm wearing this to farm likes, then let's farm some bloody likes today.
Yeah.
Let's hammer the thumbs up over on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We're almost to 9,200, which is another step up towards that 10,000 sub goal. So let's keep hammering that over there as well. The Nielsen Show today and now every day, brought to you by the great team at South Fort Chevrolet. Go see Daniel and his team at South Fort Chev. Tell him I sent you, or anybody here at EST sent you. Not only will they take good care of you, but you'll also get 15% off accessories for your new ride. Hello, 15% off all the extra little goodies that you want to throw on your Silverado 1500 or your new heavy duty. 0% financing available on select models. See dealer for details. Visit South Fort Chevrolet at 10109 89th Ave Fort Sask, or visit their website at www.southfortchev.com. Nasty chat already hopping today. The Paris Jewelers inbox. I see you. We'll get to you. If you need a conch request this morning, let's go. Hammer those into the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999 is where you can get us over there. Paris Jewelers, 22 locations across 4 provinces. And one hell of a website at parisjewelers.com. It's the PJ's inbox.
It's the ring box. It's the bling box. It's the Paris Jewelers inbox. And they got lots of fancy, shiny things. Look at this, look at that. Not just for the ladies. They got jewelry for men, too. The ring box, the bling box. It's the Paris Jewelers inbox.
Oh, it is the Paris Jewelers inbox. You know what I already see sneaking in there today? Macramalla intros, tube socks. Old Tommy Rabella getting in there with some Macramalla intros as well. One of you will likely end up winning text of the day, which is for A&W, which of course has a wonderful deal right now on the Mama Burger. 2 juicy mamas for just $9.99. No big deal. Actually, it's not a big deal. It's a great deal. Get it right now. Participating A&W locations. Most A&W drive-thrus are open 24 hours. We're talking the seasoned grass-fed beef patty, topped with pickles, onion, ketchup, mustard, and the teen sauce, all in that sexy toasted sesame seed bun. Get yourself a Mama Burger today. I guess it is a Wednesdays too, right? We could have some fun with that today.
Give me a
I don't even have the soundboard up just yet. Let's find our old Ann Ramsey soundboard today. We can certainly get into that as we work our way through the show this morning as well. So have some fun with that if you want to get in. That could be how you get in the mix for a text of the day as well.
Who the hell are you all of a sudden?
Yes, let's do it.
The unsaltedness makes me choke.
That's me on the flight to Vancouver today.
The unsaltedness makes me choke.
Would you like anything to drink, sir?
Get me a soda with some ice in it.
What are the odds, do you think, if the attendant comes up to me and says, you like anything to drink, and I dropped a, get me a soda with some ice in it? Do you think she or he would get the joke?
Somebody on that flight's got to be. You're going to get a cackle from like row whatever down in the back. There has to be one. It's the odds of the game, right? There's got to be somebody on the plane.
It was a pretty popular movie for quite some time.
Yeah. And it's a pretty unique type of phrasing. Yeah. And I mean,
if I was to say that,
you'd blow somebody's mind.
Oh God! And then somebody from the back yells,
"Get away from me, you horse's ass!"
That would be so good.
I think you immediately switch seats and sit next to the individual and do the lines all.
Did we just become best friends?
That's pretty much what it is.
Yep. I like that one. All right, so that should be that'd be fun.
You are also farmer going out for fancy dinner, Earls perhaps. You're also,
that's fair enough.
You're also farmer going to town hall meeting, which I could very important
definitely.
issue on the docket in your front row there, arms crossed, right? Like
I'm even wearing my farmer type jeans today. Like they're a little lighter colored. Like I could go straight to the baler right now. Right? I could go buy a box of baler twine. I could go up to a baler. I could insert the baler twine, and I could just start baling hay.
You could be baling this morning and giving your daughter's hand off for marriage in the afternoon type of thing. Like you've got it all. This is
with a shotgun. All right, that's if I get identified as well-dressed or cool guy, farmer guy today, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm totally okay with
the
that.
The urban
right?
farmer.
That's
your look.
Yeah. The urban farmer.
Summer 2024, the urban farmer.
The summer of the urban farmer. God, I like that one. Derek texted in this morning, a little Macramalla intro here today. EST legal analyst and guy who puts the bones back in to his boneless wings. Eric Macramalla just has a bunch. I just can't eat them like that. So he's got like one sharp bone he throws into each one and eats it off and gets it again, like a corn on the cob holder.
He loves the texture.
That's a good one. Spruce Grove Corey today sliding into the Paris Jewelers inbox. Me seeing Jeremy Roenick get into the Hall of Fame.
Who the hell are you all of a sudden?
Keep those coming in. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. The Panama Canal, after learning what Dusty said about it the other day. How lewd. And
who the hell are you all of a sudden?
I just said, was that on the oil stream? It might have been on the oil stream. Was that with you? I just said the other day that I think we must have much better technology right now. Like, we can't be amazed by the Panama Canal anymore. Like, back when you made it, you're like, wow, this is incredible. Now in 2024, we should be like beaming these boats over to the other side of the continent. Like, that's probably what should happen. So
we're
that's
getting moon stuff from the dark side of it. Apparently, China got dark side moon stuff, like the dust.
Is that an
the
album?
The other
or?
side of the moon. No, the other, like, this is the side of the moon you see.
Yeah.
Right in the sky, but then the other side that nobody goes on.
That's always been dark
went there.
forever.
They've been there and they came back.
Of course they did.
And we were talking canals.
That's
right?
pretty
Like,
impressive.
Yeah.
And we're still like,
still like-
wow, look at that. They put more water in and it lifts a ship up.
Made the sand move and
Meanwhile,
the water.
China is growing things in dark side of the moon sand. This is incredible. All right, text us anytime. Parachuters inbox 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. If you're watching over on YouTube today and you can't respect the urban farmer and smash, let's change 100 here right away.
I want you. And
let's do
what
it.
have you got flung over your shoulder holding it with the two fingers, right? It's got to be maybe a big duster. Those like Neo, that type of thing.
Yeah, that's a good. I was going to say a little bit of a rugged jean jacket.
That works too, yeah.
That would possibly work as well. All right, we'll get to let's lay out the show for you today. We've got lots to get to. It's a super duper quick turnaround here for the Oilers and free agency and the offseason and stuff. So we'll definitely get into that. Morning announcements coming up. We'll talk some soccer. We'll talk about a trade that only can be made in the NBA. We'll get into the Hockey Hall of Fame announcement. 6:30 today. We have had. We used to never get this at the old place, and that's why I love the new stuff of what we're doing here so much. We had so many good submissions of content during the playoff run. We're going to review it today. Like, we're going to give you the top 5 playoff songs all after 6:30 today. Crank it up. It's a music show just after 6:30 today. We're talking Dallas from Nelson. We're talking JJ. We're talking our own playoff song. We'll get to all of that as we work our way through the show today. That hurts for the injury lawyers, the personal injury lawyers at SBLLP, coming up before 7 o'clock this morning. Jamie McLennan will be by just after 7 o'clock today. We'll have the next winner and another qualifying opportunity for the $100,000 hole-in-one presented to you by Golf Town. Golf season, of course, officially in, wait for it, full swing. Cool Bet hotline of the day coming up as well. Canada, we'll get to that. We talk a little Copa. Free advice for Damon Bunting at 7:30 today. What do you need help with? We're going to give you the advice for free. Fantasy sports, life advice, post-playoff run advice heading into summer. Anything you need help with, the boys got you. So don't worry about that. Eric Macramalla will be by. TSN 1260, I almost said.
I do it sometimes too.
EST legal analyst. And guy who giggles harder than is necessary when someone says penal code. Eric Macramalla. That's a good one.
Snacky Chan wants the top 5 Atif speeches. I don't know if we can cobble those. Only 5?
I don't know about that one. I don't know if there's time. I don't know if there's enough time for all the reaction to those.
It almost gets its own day sometime in mid-July, hey?
EST legal analyst and guy who can't resist dropping a, so this is where all the dinks hang out when he's at a crowded urinal. That is a good line.
Hang out.
This is where all the, and dink. That's hilarious.
Dink. Yeah.
Dink, right? He said dink.
Dink.
That makes it even funnier. So Macramalla will be by coming up. Kind of easy trivia for Mr. Mike. 3 questions too many for Park Mazda. That's a good for the Italian Center Shop. Greg Wyshynski from ESPN. He's probably in Vegas already. Weekly rankings of power with Lieutenant Eric for the Ranch Golf and Country Club, and then the wrap for William Huff. We do have a busy show for you this morning, and all of your off-season questions. One off-season. You can fire those into the old Paris Jewelers inbox. We'll try to answer a few of those as we work our way through the show this morning. But let's get into your morning announcements. All right. Oilers players will have an availability today, and management apparently will have an availability tomorrow. At least that's what Tommy Gazzola was telling us yesterday. I see Panner's Pancakes over in the Nasty Chat says, sounds like 97 is getting abdominal surgery. Well, as we said yesterday, what did I say? Somewhere between his thigh and his belly button.
Yes.
Is where the surgery will occur. Probably find out more about Leon Draisaitl today. Broken finger for sure. Is there also a rib that's being an issue there? Cassian talked about that on Two Guys and a Goalie a little bit yesterday as well. So we'll get more information on that as these guys speak a little bit later on today. Speaking of later on today I'll be there at 11 o'clock doing the lock shop, but we'll have a live oil stream at noon today at Argyle Boston Pizza. So if you want to join us at the Boston Pizza in Argyle, you can swing on by. I'll buy you a beverage. Come on in. Come over, introduce yourself, buy you a beer. Or if you want to have a double highball or
Commiserate,
something.
yeah.
If you just want an iced tea, whatever you want. We'll hook you up with that. So swing on by. Make plans today to join Tommy and I for lunch. Boston Pizza over in Argyle. And be a good post-playoff sort of recap,
Yeah. What's on the menu for you today? What are you thinking? What are you feeling
I don't
right
know.
now? You
I don't know.
Did you wake up with a taste in your mouth of any?
I'm not sure. I'll have to have something because I'm going straight to the airport from there.
Oh, you got to have
so
a nice
I got to have a nice little
nice,
meal there.
yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. Hit a Boston Brute over the weekend. So I don't know if I go back-to-back Brutes.
Back-to-back Brutes.
I might just go pizza. Pizza for lunch. What a world I'm living in. That's
can't go wrong there.
That's kind of a tough one. All right, tell me about Canada.
You sure?
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
Get the dunk button ready. I'll only be 15 seconds.
No, that's
I promise.
okay. I want to know what happened at Copa.
Canada won 1-0.
Wow, pretty impressive.
Yes.
And who had the strike?
Jonathan David scored the goal.
Yes, he did.
It was even strength. 10 on 10.
As called by Pete Greggy yesterday on the lock shop, actually.
He got David?
Yeah. Yeah, he called it. That's nice. So that's about it.
That's it.
I heard Peru has been very greasy.
It was street ball. I was watching the game with one Matt Iwanek down. We were at a pub yesterday, and I said a lot of these guys probably know their way around a knife.
You think so?
There were headbutts galore. Peru did have a man sent off. Should have been 2 from a headbutt.
What?
But the officiating crew again. You think WWE wrestling is like, the official. Oh no, he's blind. Oh no,
it's
he didn't
even
see
worse.
This is they had Venezuelan officials in the VAR, CONCACAF officials on the pitch. But nonetheless, it was a wild affair. And it was like 40 degrees down in Kansas City. One of the linesmen passed out.
No!
Well, because the stadium is set up in a way where you have the shady side and then the sunny side. So one linesman lucked out and got the shady side for the first half.
That's a seniority thing for sure, right?
The poor
That's a
bastard
union.
on the other side. He's sprinting up and down for 45 minutes. In the 43rd, he just fell over.
Really?
And they had to prop him up. It was 40 degrees. Like people were,
That's a tough day.
It was weird conditions. A street fight, but Canada getting a goal, getting a massive 3 points, and need a result, a draw or a win against Chile Saturday night to advance to the knockout round.
That'd be considered a success for us, right? Like if we get into the knockout round, or should we be beyond should we move along in the knockout round?
If they just don't make it, Chile and Peru are ranked ahead of them, so you could argue there. But let's be honest, they should be, with the talent they have, they should be getting out. They needed a goal, which they got. They could have had 2 with the man advantage. Peru pressed a little late. You take the 1-0. Would have loved the 2 to get the goal differential back even. But yeah, all to play for against Chile. And now that you got that goal, you kind of, that momentum coming, the floodgates are open. You know you can do it. They've been pressing so hard.
All I can think about is how does Hernan Salas
handle
Canada, Chile?
He wants to watch. I think he's more, because Chile aren't really, if he's going to choose one to go off and go on a run, it's probably more so Canada right now.
Okay. I wasn't sure. He's very,
Chile had their time. So I think we'll be with Hernan sometime on Saturday, but should be good. Hopefully the weather's nice. Find a pub.
Have fun with
Get
that.
going.
Yeah.
Oh.
Make sure you dabble in the Bombers and Stampeders while you're
doing it all. It's great.
That's a nice
Riverhawks are on a hell of a roll.
Yeah. We are planning Riverhawks Sunday, Monday.
And very convenient. We have them on the
Nielson
station
family
right now as they're jostling for first in the North.
Epic. Last night, I tuned in for a bit last night. Just so good.
The dulcet tones.
Oh, the dulcet tones of coach. See, that's how baseball's supposed to be broadcast. It's as simple as that.
Who would have thought with everything that went on last summer, started the thing in the fall, hockey season comes, and now we're carrying Riverhawks games, top of the division with Al Coates on the call.
What a time to be alive.
Hey, I tell you.
What a time to be alive. All right. Hey, if you want to promote local sports, hammer the thumbs up on YouTube. That would be great today. And if you want to chime in the nasty chat, you can do that. You can also text us, obviously, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Wheels is in. It says, guys, I'm putting out the Elks call tomorrow night. Let's have an EST get-together at the Century. Well,
there'll be a few people
we
there.
know Maddie and Milne will be there.
I respectfully won't be.
Wouldn't be surprised if the Godfather rolls in at some point. Wheels is going to be rolling in, no pun intended. So, yeah, if you want to watch the Elks game tomorrow, hopefully I got the sound up because I'm going to call the hell out of that one. Should be a pretty good football game.
7 o'clock with Maddie and Milne, 8 o'clock kickoff, correct? I do believe from...
no idea.
From
I
Van
usually
City.
just kind of look the morning of and be like, what time I got to be there tonight? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so 7 o'clock with the boys at Century, because they'll be there the whole game watching the game. Swing on down, watch the Elks with the guys. And it should be a high-scoring game against the BC Lions. That's the prediction right now. Hammer the over. I think it's set at 52.5.
A few questions during free advice this morning as well, I think.
Oh, CFL fantasy questions?
Well, of course. That's the birth of the segment there, eh?
I am the defending champion in our league, and I have started 3-0 this year. So I drafted another nice team. It's pretty good. So, yeah, if you want to swing by and join the boys tomorrow night, Elks and Lions, Century Casino, Fort Road, Edmonton. You know it's a great menu. You know it's a great time. You know they got the 6 o'clock lager there. It's perfect.
Offensive Player of the Week, McLeod Bethel Thompson for Week 3.
MBT got a fine coming down the pipe here, too. For what he said about the quick turnaround and the commissioner not caring about the safety of the players.
Well,
had a little Zoom
he can
chat.
join the kicker fraternity and their fines that they were issued as well with regarding the chips and the balls.
Had a little Zoom chat yesterday with MBT, and all that stuff's off the record, so I'm not going to get into it too much. But I'll just say, he's a delightful dude to chat with. Like, he's straight up honest, and it's nice to have that type of conversation with somebody in the league.
I don't mind a little spice as well. I mean... Sucks to be getting your pockets a little lighter, but if he says what he has to say,
I mean, he has an opinion. He says it's for the betterment of the league, and I mean, I like when guys speak out and have an opinion about the league.
Tossing 300 plus yards and taking fines and saying what he wants.
I think it's a good one. Yeah,
that's our quarterback.
Yeah.
There's
that. See, that's over on YouTube. Great ass Fraser. I told you that person existed. Anyway, it says, guys, EST bracket or draft now, please. We'll have a draft at some point in the first 2 weeks of July. We're gonna lock in exactly what we'll be drafting. We'll have time to do that. And I'm looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. 780-218-9999. We're in your morning announcements right now for 100.3 The Bear, Edmonton's best rock. Yukon and McCord every morning. The wonderful Jess Jackson. And I also just heard that they're bringing back Lachlan Cross to fill in for a few things. Huge trade in the NBA last night. How about this? Mikal Bridges and a 2026 second to the New York Knicks. And don't you dare text in right now. Enough NBA talk. Because these like NBA, just let them cook in the offseason. It's the best. Going the other way for Mikal Bridges and a 2026 second. Bogdanovich, 125 first. Another 25 first that comes from Milwaukee. It is protected. A 2025 second. A 2027 first. A 2028 swap option on a first, a 2029 first, and a 2031 first.
The Knicks.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the swap option, 6 first rounders, a second, and Bogdanovich for Mikal Bridges and a 2026 second. The NBA offseason never misses. Ever. It always delivers. Somebody last night replied to me and was like, Dusty, put this in hockey terms. And I can't. Like, it's so unrelatable. I can't do it. It's insane. 2025 for two 2025 firsts, a 2025 second, a 27, a 29, and a 2031 first, and then a swap option on the 2028 first. It's nuts.
First deal between the two orgs since '83 as well.
Wow.
Which is, when you think about it, Knicks and Nets and everything like that. But
pretty impressive. That's insane.
Where do they get their phone number? Like,
yeah.
How about the Nets? Wait, the who?
I cannot wait to be sitting here in 2031, and we've got, I don't know, Trev, how many subscribers do you think we'd have in 2031? We're almost at 10,000 now. It's 2024. So 7 years from now.
I'd say... Oh, well, I got an idea.
Okay, what do you think?
I think the way we're going, for sure, I'd like to see us over 50K.
Oh, yeah, I think we'd be over 50K by then.
Probably.
Between now and then, that's like 3 more cup runs for the Oilers.
Yeah, 50 to 100. I think that's
somewhere in that. That's a nice big window you're leaving there.
Yeah.
And then 2031, Trev will be like, I told you. We're at like 58,000. He's like, I told you it's between 50 and 100,000. But can you imagine sitting here and being like, oh, man, I wonder who the Nets are going to get with the Knicks 2031 first rounder. It's finally here.
It's the Bobby Bonilla stuff all over again.
God. Surveyor Brett, put it in your phone. Hockey Hall of Fame announced yesterday this year's class. Pavel Datsyuk, a true magician. Jeremy Roenick, Shea Weber. And then in the female category, Natalie Darwitz and Chrissy Wendell-Pole. And then Colin Campbell and David Poyle go in as
the fixer
builders.
category. Oh, sorry.
What's that?
The fixer category for Colin Campbell.
Pretty much. So there you go. There's your Hall of Fame class. I know Wyshynski's very fired up about Mogilny not getting in there. I don't know why they won't put Alexander Mogilny in the Hall of Fame.
Wyshynski was cut off yesterday too in the phone line.
I saw that.
So like
he was like next
game's afoot. They knew it too,
and people knew that he was going to be asking about Mogilny, and he was just like,
He'll get his chance on the show later today. Hey,
sorry, Greg, we're full. That's all the questions we've got today, Greg. Yeah. I don't. The Hall of Fame. I don't.
Isn't Weber still on an IR somewhere too? Like,
have we officially seen Weber retire?
Like I just kind of.
I'm pretty sure he's still on the Coyotes or wherever the hell he's supposed to be.
The defunct.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on at that point. Mike D makes a good point over in the nasty chat and says the Knicks just traded an 11-year-old, and that's what it is. Like that's almost Marshall's age. Like we're almost trading for picks in Marshall's draft year, which is nuts. But the NBA, can you imagine if the NHL at the draft dropped one of these on us?
I can't.
Mitch Marner. Let's just use Mitch Marner as an example. It's not a great example because he's not locked up long term.
In the Habs and the Leafs.
Okay, Habs and Leafs.
Right here, something like that.
Habs and Leafs. Mitch Marner to the Habs for 2 2025 firsts, a 25 second, a 27 first, a 29 first, and a 2031 first, and of course a pick swap option on the 2028 first. The hockey world would die. Like guys would be passing out and not waking up because they could not handle this type of deal.
I think we'd hear the word disrespect a lot.
You think so?
For some reason. Like,
why would you make a trade like this? This is ridiculous.
Disrespectful.
How dare a team want to acquire draft capital that they will later use to trade for a bunch of players themselves? Anyway, like I said, NBA offseason does not miss. Rubella 2.0 says, what if Weber and JR are in, how low has the Hall of Fame bar gotten? Well, not low enough that Alexander Mogilny, who once scored 76 goals in a season, can't get in. So
Colin Campbell. I rest my case.
Whatever. Big G is in it. Says, guys, I don't know much about basketball, but that guy must be pretty good. But Cal Bridges is a good basketball player. I mean, the Knicks
are looking to get over.
The Knicks are trying to get over the hump.
Yeah.
And he played at Villanova, where a bunch of their other guys played. These guys all played college ball together, so they're kind of bringing the college band back together. I don't know if it works, but you might as well take a run at it, considering the Boston Celtics just had their way with everybody in the East, right? But that's enough NBA talk for today. We've got off-season discussion to get to. Actually, you know what we got coming up? We are going to dive into all of the great submissions we had for musical content in the playoffs and take a little trip down and remember how good the times were, right? Everybody's so sad, but let's remember how much fun was had during the run. Quite a bit. We're going to get into that after a sports update with LTE.
Pavel Datsyuk, Shea Weber headlining the Hockey Hall of Fame class of 24, both being selected in their first year of eligibility. Jeremy Roenick, finally elected after being on the ballot since 2012. He'll be joined by Natalie Darwitz and Chrissy Wendell-Pole. David Poyle and Colin Campbell, both selected in the Builders category. The NHL draft will go Friday from Vegas. Riverhawks baseball returned to Edmonton Sports Talk last night, make it 5 straight wins as the Hawks take the series opener 2-1 over the Bellingham Bells. Game 2 of the 3-game set goes tonight for Remax Field. Coverage starts at 7:05. Right back here on Edmonton Sports Talk, as well as the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps. The Edmonton Prospects with a 7-4 victory over the visiting Weyburn Beavers down at Centennial Park Field 9. Prospects have the day off. They'll host Okotoks tomorrow. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. driving in fours. The Jays snapped a 7-game slide with a 9-4 victory over the Red Sox. Rubber match of that set gets underway at 5:10 this evening from Boston. Yariel Rodriguez set to start for the Jays. Knicks acquiring Mikal Bridges from the Nets yesterday, the first deal between the two orgs since 1983. Knicks send in Bogdan Bogdanovic, 5 first-rounders, a first-round pick swap, and a second-round selection to the Nets. NBA draft goes tonight. Raptors currently holding the 19th overall pick, which was acquired in a deal with the Pacers, while Atlanta hold the first overall selection. On the pitch, Canada with a 1-0 win over Peru, while Argentina get past Chile 1-0. Canada sits second in Group A on 3 points. They'll need a draw against Chile on Saturday to progress to the knockout round. And group stage action concludes at Euro 24 today with 4 matches, all to play for in Group B at 10 o'clock as Slovakia face Romania while Ukraine takes on Belgium. Later this afternoon at 1 in Group F, Georgia play Portugal while Czechia are up against Turkey.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in on TuneIn, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Tuffy and Eric and all of the bad cats like Wyshynski and Noodles. Gadget can gauge it. Maybe it's but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday Mandate. Sharky's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number 1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today.
Changing 100.
We want to hear some hot takes and we want to hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I want our kids away? Beat left the tie of fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the Canes? Macramalla, Rapaport, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about them give a present, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Oh, AM Nasty Crew, the AM Nasty Flu, as we settle in for an AM Nasty Summer. $100,000 hole-in-one a week from today out at the ranch. Very much looking forward to that. Huge shout out to Murray McCourt, who announced a couple of days ago on the Hangout that closest to the pin is going to win $1,000 as well. So even if you don't drop one in, somebody's still going to leave with some cash from the ranch a week from today. We are less than 2 weeks away from the first annual inaugural Memorial EST Golf Classic, which is going to be just an awesome day.
Got to get my uniform.
Families coming up for it. You got to get your caddy. You got to get
Yeah.
you gotta get some of those white painters overalls again, right?
Yeah,
That's
three pairs.
That's a real
It's a
good
long
look
day,
there.
yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I know Maddie's getting pretty excited. It's a tournament that he's been organizing and working on, and a bunch of the stuff's rolled in. It's going to be really exciting. Nasty Bash coming up July 26th. Plan on having a big announcement or two at the Nasty Bash in late July, which usually just turns into a real old-fashioned you-know-what. And
I think there's still half-finished Guinnesses laying around the St. Albert Rugby Club.
probably St. Albert Rugby Club.
And
The St. Albert Rugby Club, when we come rolling back in, is going to be like, who the hell are you all of a sudden? Because the St. Albert Rugby Club wants nothing to do with us again. That was a time. I mean, if there's a place to party in this city, it's the St. Albert Rugby Club.
Carpeted
so
flooring.
I cannot wait to be back there. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, let's hammer the thumbs up. We would appreciate it. If you've not yet subbed to the channel, let's do that as well. Edmonton Oilers players expected to chat with the media today. And management tomorrow. They've got a big to-do list. So we'll get into that a little bit with Jamie McLennan and Greg Wyshynski. At this point, they technically don't have a general manager who would be running free agency on Monday. For those of you who are like, are you guys on free agency Monday? We're not on in the morning, but I think Matty Wanek is planning a 10 o'clock show when free agency begins to go over any Oilers news that may be happening. So we'll have some content for you on July 1st, and we'll be back breaking it all down on July 2nd, leading into the $100,000 hole-in-one on July 3rd. And if you have not yet qualified for that $100,000 swing to win presented by Golf Town, we'll do that around 7:20 this morning. All right. We had a number of good songs submitted during the playoff run. And the best part is like we weren't asking for them. We weren't like, we have no music to play. Please submit your songs. People were just like, man, I got a great idea for a tune. I'm going to create it. I'm going to send it to the boys. We're going to have some fun with it.
They shot their shot.
And they did. And I mean, for the most part, it churned out gold record after gold record. It was really nice. So as who was it? Was it Dave? Yeah, Dave texted in to the Paris Jewelers inbox here on the Nielson Show, presented to you by Southport Chevrolet. Check them out at www.southportchev.com. Dave says, Edmonton Sports Talk helped make the playoffs so fun. Not only did the team provide us with a lot of great memories, but so did you. It was a cup run I'll never forget. Thank you, and go Oilers next season. All right, so we do have a lot of good content that we had. Where do we start? I got like 2 or 3 from Dallas from Nelson. We got JJ, the City of Champions. We got Cup Cherry as well. As
Cup
we
Cherry
take
was
a look back.
an in-house made, right? I mean, one of your babies.
We probably start there, don't we?
Yeah.
This is, I was very proud of this one when we put it together. I've been waiting to write a parody song.
Well,
to
Buck Cherry,
for a long time.
The big thing here.
And it worked out, and we ended up milking every single ounce out of this bad boy.
Oh yeah! Pour it on! You wanna win it? Game on, yeah! It's time to play with disdain. If you wanna lift the cup again, push and shove and rough up. You know Connor's gonna get the win. And yes, they lift the cup again. Got no doubt in my head. And yes, they lift the cup again. Oh man, playoffs are insane. Playoffs are insane. Rock and Rogers place. Rock and Rogers place.
Davis moving in with speed. He shoots. He scores.
I'm on this train and hang on.
Oh, baby, that one hit. We were hammering that thing out every single morning. All the songs, of course, presented to you by our great partners over at Sportball. If you love your kid, you'll put them in Sportball. Check it out, www.sportball.ca for all the sports programs that they offer. It's a good way to get your kid stress-free environment. Parents get to play with the kids as well. It's a real good program, sportball.ca. So that was the one that we put together. Of all the ones that we're going to kind of play pieces of here in the 6 o'clock hour today, let us know which one was your favorite. I know which one was my favorite. The one that I made is not my favorite. I really like it, but it's not my favorite. We had a lot of other good ones that were sent in. Man, Dallas from Nelson churned out some absolute beauties along the way as well. This one kind of came in a little bit short notice near the end of the run, but ended up being pretty good during the comeback.
Good work during the run. He's
to
working
even the
during the
series
run,
at 6. Like, it's pretty good. What happened there?
We just had the tail end. I love it. There we go.
Florida, we got you on the run now. We should have been on the golf course. Now we're back in it somehow. I think you're starting to squeeze that stick, and you're starting to blow it. I know you're headed for a breakdown, and you're starting to show it. And maybe you remember by 3 games you had led. Now just 1 game is the spread. Calling Florida. Florida, your destiny is is calling.
Oh, God, that hurts.
I feel like we were robbed
That
of that one
hurts so
too.
close, man.
Like that is for such a brief moment that we had that one. I would have
I
wanted
know.
that from the whole.
I know.
At least a couple rounds with that.
That one would have been great if they had ended up winning the cup, and then we just hammer that all summer. Like, we'll have a lot of fun with a lot of this in the summer. But we can't let a 2-1 game in Game 7 ruin all the great stuff that we got along the way, man. You just can't do it. Like, the last thing you want is to look back on it and go, yeah, but the Oiler men song that Dallas put together sucked.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was legendary
You're not
stuff.
throwing out jerseys you bought during the run. You're not throwing, right? Like, this is the same type of stuff. This is apparel,
Yeah.
audio apparel.
That was a good one. That was a real good one. Oh, man. This one. Maybe it's too soon.
Oh, don't, no.
First thing we fired Woody, and then we hired Knock Block. Bring in Paul Coffee, then goes against us stop. Illusions that someday we'd be in the fight. Now it's playoffs, and this is game night. And that's when it dawned upon them that this is a serious team, and there ain't no doubt tonight we'll shut them out. Oilers will hoist Lord Stanley. Oilers will hoist Lord Stanley. Oilers will hoist Lord Stanley.
You know, I'll say this when we run that back next year. You can run that one back next year. We play that thing all bloody season.
Actually, yeah, that's not dated. Maybe a few of them other like this is we're in the middle of a run here. Like that's I think
As we were told online yesterday by people, it's more likely the Oilers miss the playoffs next year than win the Stanley Cup. So
who would have thought only one
Yeah.
team can win, and how many teams miss out on winning? Like, and you're telling me the odds? Yeah, okay, yeah.
you take your odds,
Who would have thunk that? Hey,
stuff them in a sack.
I thought it'd be
right?
easier to get to the final as opposed to just
Yeah.
missing out. Yeah.
This one kind of came out of nowhere. This was not Dallas and Nelson. This was not Jonty and Victoria. Some of these guys who turned out. This was JJ, who just emailed this one to us out of nowhere. This ended up getting some good run during the playoff run as well.
Drop the puck. Let's go, Oilers, let's go. Let's go, Oilers, go. I hear the Oilers coming, boarding on the plane, off to the United States to play Canada's favorite game. A chance to win the glory, a chance to win the cup. Let's go, Oilers, let's go. Let's go, Oilers, go. Bring it back to our World Saint City, the city of champions. Since I was just a baby, grew up an Oiler fan. Remember Gretzky in the 80s, seeing 4 rings on just one hand, chasing through the 90s and into the millennium. Let's go, Oilers, let's go. Let's go, Oilers, go. Watch us shooting past kicks and Florida. I said, put those Panthers down.
And I'll tell you, I'm a little excited to see more from Jay. Man, that's his debut track with us. I think there's to be other good stuff coming down the pipe from that guy.
Florida S.
Some Florida S. See, like he says it, but he doesn't say it. Brilliant. Almost like he censored himself, but we know what he said.
And a real tapper, hey? Like
Very clever
great
stuff.
beat.
Very clever stuff. So that was another classic as well. Thanks to Jay for sending that one in. We didn't even get to the stuff that the married couple did like during the regular season to get Connor Brown in. Jonty's off the schneid was outstanding as well. This is all like year one stuff at EST. We're just going to continue to build this library even better and better and better. Now, as all the ones that really, and this, look, I'll say right now, this is going to be a tough one. Trev, I know it's going to be a tough one for you. You told me you had your scooter moment when you were buzzed up and you were scootering and you were singing this song and people were loving it. This is a tough one. This is a tough one to play this morning, even for me. But this is the finest piece of work that I think anybody's ever sent us. This was extremely well done. We're not playing a part of it. We're playing the whole thing. This was Dallas from Nelson. Just extraordinary stuff. And I tell you, if this doesn't make you think that they're going to run it back, like McDavid and Draisaitl should sign extensions right now just because of this song. This is a highlight of the playoff run, in my opinion.
I am a Zach High man with the Leafs I used to ride, with Austin Matthews by my side. I scored a couple and I had a little fun. Signed with the Oilers in July of 21. The Leafs let me walk because they thought I had no soul. Now I'm over 50 goals. I am the dangler from way across the other side, where Beamers and Audis are supplied. Third overall in the draft 2014. Got a one-timer like the game has never seen. Bottom of a circle is the place where I get set. It's going in the net. I'm Nugent Hopkins. I was born in 93. All the way from Burnaby. Played some junior for Red Deer and had a ball. Signed with the Oilers when I went first overall. My two-way game, they said, is totally complete. The best in the league. The best in the league. The league. The league. The league. I'm Connor McDavid. I'm sure you've all seen my work. I'm not from this planet Earth. I'm deadly serious when I'm telling you what's up. My soul, it will not rest until we hoist the cup. Do what it takes through all the struggle and the pain, till just the oil remains. And we're gonna win again and again and again and again and again and again and again.
Woo! I mean, that's a 10 out of 10. That's an A+. That was submitted early in the run, and we played the hell out of it. And Dallas from Nelson, you absolute beauty. Job well done. Thank you to everybody for all the content that you sent in during
Worthy
the
of an
playoff run.
Esty, hey? Yeah.
What's that?
Worthy of an Esty.
Oh,
you could
my
get
God.
in the category.
I mean,
after
that could
song.
end up winning the Esty. That could be winning the Esty for Song of the Year in year one at Edmonton Sports Talk. All right. And then what do we do? What do we do for this guy? Submitted a lot of content for us as well during the playoff run. Sometimes they were songs. Sometimes they were speeches. Sometimes I have no idea what the hell they were.
Late night photographs as well.
Late night photographs.
You keep those coming, Atif, through the summer months.
Well, this one I got labeled as Atif Game 5 speech. Let's see what this one was.
Okay, boys, gather up, gather up. All right. Guys, it's a big day. We're here in Vancouver. It's Game 5. It's the morning of Game 5. Listen, guys, you got to believe. Believe in your hearts. Believe in your souls. Believe in everything that you know. All right? You put these orange and blue colors on, you're representing one of the best cities in Canada. Best cities in the world. Edmonton, Alberta, with a crazy fan base. All right? So we're going to go out there. We're going to kick some ass. We're going to go home with a 3-2 series lead. Okay? And we're going to wrap it up on Saturday night at Rogers Place. So who's with me? Nuge, are you with me? Yup. McDavid, you with me? Yup. Draisaitl, you with me? Yep. Stewart, Skinner, and Pickard, you with me? Yep. All right, let's go.
That was, I think, the very first one where he said, yup, a bunch of times. They ended up losing that game when we banned him for about a week. But outside of that, he delivered some good stuff along the way.
Yeah, it's he was stepping into a Slim Jim. By the end, he was even laughing at himself, which we all love, you know?
It was a fun run. A lot of that stuff we can run back next year when they're going to be a very good hockey team again. I know a bunch of people who, and it makes me a little bit sad because there's so many fans, or they call themselves fans, but there's so many people who just are so quick to drop the, oh, I told you so. I knew, like you're sitting there, you're cheering, and then the moment they lose, you're like, I said this months ago. They weren't getting, like, why do you take so much pride in like having a take that's right as opposed to watching your team actually have success? I just don't get it. It frustrates me. So those people can all go by the wayside. But for everybody else who was committed during the entire run, kudos to you. Edmonton, you did a hell of a job as a city, hell of a job as a fan base, hell of a job as a bunch of AM nasties and EST supporters. We'll love you. The run's been absolutely incredible. Look back on it. It's a hell of a lot better than the last 17 off seasons that most of them they didn't make, and then the other ones all ended in worse disappointments than this one.
All you got to do is pick your choose from one of the multiple off seasons of the past, talking drafts, mid-May and everything else.
More than half the years we've worked together, we were talking draft in February.
And some big boards with some really weird names, Who do they look for? Like, it's just some real crap times of content in terms of talking about this team. Not even a sniff. You're talking about, they're in the Stanley Cup Finals. We weren't even talking playoffs.
Yeah. They were a bounce away from winning the Stanley Cup this year. They were a post away from winning the Stanley Cup.
Which maybe makes it
worse. They were this close.
Maybe.
It probably does. I mean, it does. But when you sit back and look at the overall bigger picture, how can you not be excited about where this team is going? And I know there's all those people who are like, whoa, when Draisaitl leaves, why would he leave? Where would he go? He's going somewhere for more money? You think somebody's going to outbid Daryl Cates for Leon Draisaitl?
At this moment in time.
The Edmonton Oilers would sacrifice running a 16-man roster if it meant they got to keep Leon Draisaitl. Hell, they basically ran 17-man rosters for most of the last 2 seasons anyway. So if you think that they're going to be outbid somewhere, or you think that Leon Draisaitl looks somewhere else and goes, they have a better chance of winning than playing here with Connor McDavid and a team that deemed this close to winning the Stanley Cup, and if he didn't have a broken rib or back or whatever is going on with him, they probably win the Stanley Cup. You think these guys are going to bail on this organization knowing that they're the ones who have salvaged it and turned it around? No chance in hell. Daryl Cates will give both those guys a blank check to stay in Edmonton. And they'll realize that their best chance to deliver a Stanley Cup is together. So
Cates for GM is what you're kind of...
well, I mean...
He comes down and just starts rolling up the sleeves.
It doesn't matter who the GM is.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll get that done. Jeff Jackson, Paul Coffey, Stoff, Cates. I don't care who gets it done. They'll get it done. And then for some reason, I feel like it'll break a bunch of hearts of people who are like, oh, fine. They'll keep one of the best cores the league's ever seen together, and they'll try to take more runs at the Stanley Cup. Like, I have not a lot of time for a bunch of the crap that I've seen the last 2 days. Your team just went to a Stanley Cup final. For a moment, can you stop bitching about Cody Ceci, and can you stop sending in, they're never going to win a cup with Skinner takes, because those are the worst takes I've ever seen in my entire life. He's in his second year, and they almost won one with him this year. So there's been a lot of bad takes circulating for the last 48 hours that I just had to get off my chest today. This was an incredible 2 months. You would have killed for this 2 months 6 years ago. You got it. They're going to do it again, and they're going to finish it at some point in the next 1 to 3 years. Like, this is invaluable experience for Broberg and Holloway and McDavid and Draisaitl to go through this stuff. Like, for the people online yesterday being like, Dusty, just so you know, I mean, they're probably never going to get back here again because of the cap situation. Well, guess what? Their cap situation this year was garbage. Like they live in the darkness when it comes to cap situations, and they still find ways to get it done because guess what? Hyman's on a ridiculous value deal, and Nuge is on a value deal. Like they've got guys along the way. So I don't know. I've been kind of disappointed with a lot of the negativity that's popped up after you just watch what your team did for the last 2.5 months. It's the same people who bailed on them when they were down to Vancouver. It's the same people who bailed on them when they were down to Dallas. And I don't technically blame you for bailing when they're down 3-0 in a Stanley Cup Final because that would have been a monumental task. But they almost completed the most impressive comeback in the history of hockey. And people still just want to be like, oh, I told you. I told you that Kulak was going to leave his man too open in Game 7 of a Stanley Cup Final because I looked at the analytics. Like, come on, guys.
And maybe people were ready for that if it was a sweep. I think a lot of fans, even diehards who ride with this thing emotionally and hard on the sleeves, okay, sweep, you throw up your arms. But if you're gonna come to the table with that, knew it all along that they'd lose 2-1 in Game 7. That's written in the stars, right?
Pretty much.
Like
that's what it is. Like,
yeah.
All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. We'll get to a few more of those as we work our way through the show this morning. Pix is in and says, Dusty, you're going to make me cry. No reason to make you cry unless they're happy tears. Unless they are happy tears. RCN circling around in here.
Yep, he's
RCN circling around. Said he laid low yesterday because he knew how much heartbreak there was.
Yeah, he's our
that
troll.
Was just for
He's
a day of
our
mourning.
troll.
He's ready.
Yeah.
He's back. He's locked and loaded. Darren is in and says, I'm excited for the Oilers next year. Oilers for life. How dare you be excited for this team next year? That's a ridiculous thing to say. They're obviously going to suck next year because, as somebody yesterday said on Two Guys and a Goalie, they're going to have a hard time making the playoffs. This was not something we said. It's something that was messaged in. How about this? This was maybe my favorite thing I've seen over the last 2 weeks. And by favorite, I mean stupidest take. They're going to have a hard time making the playoffs next year because the division's so good. Anaheim, San Jose, Calgary. I mean, those are three teams that aren't going to have a sniff. The Kings are the Kings. They're going to be the exact same thing. They'll play the Oilers in the first round, and the Oilers will walk over them in 4 or 5. That's not going to change. Vancouver's not going to be as lucky as they were last year. And we'll see what Vegas is. But don't tell me that. Honestly, this was something I saw yesterday on Two Guys and a Goalie. The Oilers are going to be in tough next year to make the playoffs because the division's so strong. You had a team that, since they got the new coach, was the best team in the National Hockey League and came within a bounce away from winning the Stanley Cup. But they should totally be worried about the Kings in the division.
I think
Holy
Pro Am Sports
smokes.
has the President's Trophy mini banners already ready to go, right? Like you can that's where you should be. The division, screw the Pacific. We're going for the president.
Anyway, we do have to transition to the offseason. We're going to recap, obviously, the Cup Final a little bit. Jamie McLennan scheduled to join us coming up here just after 7 o'clock for Pro Am Sports. $100,000 hole-in-one. All I want to say here today is remember how awesome this team was. They almost completed the most memorable comeback in the history of the National Hockey League. It was a phenomenal run. You had a great 2 months. You're going to get to taste that again. And we're very happy to be here at Edmonton Sports Talk to take you through that again next year, the following year, or the next 2 or 3 years combined. It's going to be a great time. Jamie McLennan's on the way, $100,000 hole-in-one, cool bet hotline of the day, free advice for Damon Bunting and Eric Macramalla around 7:45. Jam-packed second hour on the show here today. If you're watching over on YouTube this morning, let's hammer the thumbs up. I did not wear my Urban Farmer shirt to come up at like 350 likes today. Not happening. Hammer the thumbs up over on YouTube if you are watching right now, and we'll get into it. What should be the Oilers' offseason priority? Jamie McLennan. We'll ask him. We'll see what his answer is coming up. They got a bunch of UFAs. Some guys that you think you want back. There's other guys that I think you could probably walk right now. But we'll get into that with Noodles from TSN when he pops by here in the next 5 minutes or so. Let's get to a sports update right now with Lieutenant Eric for Green Plan.
NHL Draft will go Friday from Vegas. Yesterday, Pavel Datsyuk, Shea Weber, Jeremy Roenick, Natalie Darwitz, Chrissy Wendell Pohl, David Poley, and Colin Campbell all inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame class of 24. On the diamond, the Riverhawks make it 5 straight wins. They take the opener 2-1 over the Bellingham Bells. Riverhawks action returns to Edmonton Sports Talk tonight. Game 2 of the 3-game set from Remax Field. Coverage starts at 7:05 here on Edmonton Sports Talk and as well the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps. Prospects, meanwhile, they're victorious 7-4 over the visiting Weyburn Beavers. Prospects have the day off. They'll host Okotoks tomorrow back in Sherwood Park. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. driving in 4 runs as the Jays snapped a 7-game slide with a 9-4 victory over the Red Sox. Rubber match of that set gets underway at 5:10 this evening from Boston. Yariel Rodriguez set to start for Toronto. Knicks acquiring Mikal Bridges from the Nets yesterday, the first deal between the two clubs since 1983. Knicks sending Bogdan Bogdanovic 5 first-round picks, a first-round pick swap, and a second-round selection to the Nets.
I love it.
NBA draft will go tonight. The Raptors currently holding the 19th overall pick, which was acquired in a deal with the Pacers. The Atlanta Hawks currently hold the first overall selection. On the pitch, Canada with a 1-0 win over Peru, while Argentina get past Chile 1-0. Canada sits second in Group A on 3 points. They'll need a draw against Chile on Saturday to progress to the knockout round. And group stage action concludes at Euro 24 later today with 4 matches. It's all to play for in Group E at 10 o'clock. Slovakia take on Romania. Ukraine faces Belgium this afternoon at 1 in Group F. Georgia play Portugal, while Czechia are up against Turkey. The sports update brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting service. Whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential, plan it right with Green Plan. Visit green-plan.com or give them a call, 780-455-4292.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
$7:04 in the morning. It is the Nielson Show. Thank you very much for being here today. The Nielson Show is presented to you by Southfort Chevrolet, www.southfortchev.com. Closer than you think since 1983, 10109 89th Ave out in Fort Sask. Go see Daniel and his team at Southfort Chev. Tell him I sent you, or Lieutenant Eric sent you, or YouTube Trev sent you. Tell him somebody at EST sent you, and they're going to hook you up with 15% off of accessories on your new ride. So you can go get something somewhere else, but you're not going to get 15% off accessories. So go get that done at Southfort Chev. They'll take care of you. And the general manager has a Nerf gun wall. I'm still not 100% sure what that's all about, but I'm here for it. I think it's a great idea, and I think we should get one here at Edmonton Sports Talk Global Headquarters. I think that would be great. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. If you're not yet subbed to the channel, we would appreciate that sub as well. You can text us anytime in the Paris Jewelers inbox at 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. We've got a lot to turn around here in not a lot of time. Jamie McLennan is our hockey insider today. Our hockey insiders usually hit them up after free agency for a week, and then they get to take a little bit of time off. I mean, Noodle's always working overdrive. He's a busy guy anyway. But hockey insiders are brought to you by the great folks over at Pro-Am Sports. Barry, Ken, and Jack at Pro-Am want to thank all the Edmonton Sports Talk and the Nasties for the incredible support this season. Pro-Am will be closed for an extended Canada Day long weekend, Friday through Monday. But unlike NHL insiders, they'll be back at work on Tuesday instead of posting pictures from the cottage. Stay tuned for details for the granddaddy of all sales in July at proamsports.ca. I wonder why those guys are so exhausted. I wonder if they sold about 1 million jerseys in the last 2 months, and they're like, you know what we need to? They need to hire Zach to come part-time or something. Get him over there.
Little inventory now. Hey?
Yeah. Well, inventory. How much is left? 0.
Yeah.
Sold everything.
Zach could do it.
So they're closed up until they'll be back on Tuesday. Let's bring in Noodles today. Oh, Jamie, what a finish to a Stanley Cup Final. That close to getting it done, and they just came up short. I guess that's why they say it's the hardest trophy to win in all of sports, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of frustration and sadness. Excuse me, but if you look at it, it was a hard-fought battle. It was a great series. I think you had 2 great teams that, really wanted it. In the end, Florida found a way to get their game back in order, where Edmonton had all the momentum going into Game 7. But, I was in the building. You could feel the angst. You could feel it. I thought I heard a stat yesterday that I think it's 7 game sevens in a row. The first goal won the game. So you have a soft play up the wall. McLeod doesn't want to get that out, take a hit, and then ends up in the back of your net. And to me, there were just a couple mistakes where, it ends up costing you a goal, and you can't have those critical mistakes at in the Stanley Cup Final or even in Game 7. So I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned. I think it was a great run. I think people, I don't know, you guys can speak to it better, but excuse me being around Edmonton and seeing the excitement and the city on fire, the people wanted it and they could taste it, but you fall up short and you wonder if that drives McDavid and the crew to push harder next year or in the next couple years to raise the trophy.
Well, Noodles, as Dusty said, very tough to get to this point, much less a final, much less coming back from 3-0 down, forcing a Game 7 and to lose by a goal. But really, if there's any team right now around the league to do that, it would have to be this one. I mean, we just saw it happen with the Panthers. Extremely tough to get to this point, Noodles, but I do feel that this is kind of like a halftime for this Oilers run that they're in the middle of and doing what they did this season, always having to come from behind, come back. You mentioned they had to learn their lesson in the conference finals years back. I kind of see this as learning a lesson. Unfortunately, it all ended with the fans, but learning a very tough lesson in these Stanley Cup finals as well against a team that learned theirs the year prior.
I think also, too, you can point to is, how close they really are. And what I mean by that is I think it's the last 3 years they've lost to the Cup champions.
Yeah, they have.
It's you're that close to realizing what it's going to take to get us over the hump. Now, Jeff Jackson, I don't know if Ken Holland's going to be in the mix, all of that. They've got some decisions to make. They've got to, make sure that they, for lack of better words, the band stays together, or you can afford to keep everybody together, that who you want to keep. I think a guy like Matthias Janmark was lining his jeans with money in the finals. And, you hope that he's a guy that can stay, but if not, you've got to find, ample replacements. I think there's decisions to be made on current roster players that, either you saw their true colors or you saw what they're capable of in a positive or negative way on the biggest stage. And you've got to make some decisions to either trade them or move away from them. So I think, there is always turnover, but I think there's been some questions as well. I'm sorry, questions answered as well with a guy, Stuart Skinner is a 1. He's proven that he can handle.
Yeah, you can win a Stanley Cup with Stuart Skinner. Have we not learned that, do you think?
I think you can, and that's the other thing too, is he's shown that he's durable and he can play. Like, he played a lot of games this year and he played a lot of games last year. So he's learned to be a number 1. Is Evan Bouchard, a number 1 defenseman. I think he's going to be a big star in this league. So, you've found some of these players. So if you look at the spine of the team, you got the goalie, you got the number 1 pairing with Ekholm and Bouchard, and you've got McDavid and Draisaitl. Yes, everyone's going to talk about the Draisaitl contract, but you've got them under contract. You've got RNH, you've got Hyman, you've got Evander Kane for 2 more years. Now, that having a healthy Evander Kane would have helped. All the rumblings of Draisaitl and, a broken hand, broken ribs, all of that type of stuff. That's probably going to trickle out here. Like, that's the one thing that the Florida Panthers were. And now, Aaron Ekblad had injuries, and there were guys like that. But if they were healthy, maybe that you find an extra goal. Maybe you find a little extra something. But what I've come back to is the frame of this team looks really good. Philip Broberg showed that he can play, and I think he's going to be a really nice player.
Yeah.
So there will be some fringe players that leave, and there'll be other guys that stay that from this current group, and you add to it, and you continue to build. It is hard to get back to, but, that's what drives you. And, if Tampa did it 3 years in a row, Florida did it 2 years in a row, that has to be the focus for the Edmonton Oilers, is to get back to the dance and give yourself an opportunity to try and win.
Yeah, other teams recently have proven that you can get back.
Yeah.
It's not impossible,
Yeah.
right? So, and I think with that core that they've got and how close they were and how good McDavid was, even though he's banged up as well, it's certainly going to get there. You mentioned some of the decisions that'll have to be made here, and just looking at the roster, you did lay out all the core guys are under some sort of contract right now for the upcoming season, at least. The guys who aren't, the UFAs, Connor Brown, Carrick, Fogle, Gagne, Adam Henrique, who they brought in, obviously, at the deadline, Matthias Janmark, Corey Perry, and then Desharnais on the back end is a UFA as well. Pickard's a UFA as well. It'd be great if they could either figure out what to do with Jack Campbell and free up, I think it's like $3.8 million you get in cap space if you're able to get him on a buyout or something along those lines. But Noodles, what would be the priority? Like, what's the priority if you were the GM of the Oilers, and they've got to name a new one of those at some point in the next little bit?
Maybe that's the answer.
But what would be priority number one for you heading into this offseason for Edmonton?
Well, I liked Adam Henrique. I thought he was a really good fit. And you got to find out where people are in their careers. Would Adam Henrique take somewhat of a discount to stay in a really good situation? Same thing with Connor Brown. He signed on a value contract. Now there's a big bonus involved, but I like Connor Brown, and I think he's a guy that you could keep. Janmark, I like. The problem is some of these guys might just have priced themselves out of the current structure. But those are the three names that I really like. Desharnais on the back end, he might price himself out to a point where you might have to move past him, and Philip Broberg pushed through.
Yeah.
But I look at, there are some names that I'd like to keep in the mix. I think Pickard is a nice two, and they've got Rodriga. I think I don't want to butcher his name. Oliver Rodriga.
Yeah, he's in the American League. He had a decent year.
Yeah, and he's a good up and coming goaltender, but you might give him another year and have a guy like Pickard, who was a really good number two for Stuart Skinner. Apparently, he's an unbelievable guy in the room, really popular. He gave them good minutes. Keep in mind, and I'm sure you guys have done over this, looked at the playoffs. Calvin Pickard was a really important part because he won the one game, lost the second one in Vancouver, Game 5. But that allowed Stuart Skinner to have a little bit of a reset and a little bit of a mental rest as well. And then Stuart Skinner took off after that. So that tandem is important. But I think that, Henrique is important. I like Connor Brown and the way that they were able to kind of settle in. Brown, once he got his legs going, and it took him all season to get his legs going, you saw how good he is. He's a really good skater. He's got a great stick. He's great on the penalty kill. I don't think you'll see a scenario where it would take him almost a full season to score a goal next year. So, depends on the price point of all these guys. But if they're willing to stay in a potential winning situation, you might be able to get them on value. Maybe if you give a little bit more term, and I know people don't love term, but if you can get the AAV down to keep some of these guys in the mix, you can deal with the term on the back end. I think, that's the thought process on RNH and guys like that, is to keep their numbers down and give them term. I'd like to keep at least, three of those guys, and then you start filling out the bottom of the roster around that core group.
The entire offseason, until something is done, will be focused on Leon Draisaitl extension watch, and for obvious reasons. What's your gut feeling on how that plays itself out? And you can just say signs long-term deal at a great price for the team if you want. I mean, that would be great.
I think yes. I mean, signs 8 years at his current contract.
Yeah. He just wants to stick around. He likes the number, like.
Yeah, you're not getting the Sidney Crosby 8.7. So
no.
My current gut feeling is, and again, I'm not in the know, but I've always felt that those two want to deliver a cup to Edmonton, and then afterwards, all bets are off. So, I don't know what that means other than the fact that, I thought if Edmonton won the other night, we might look at a different scenario where, Draisaitl looks at maybe going somewhere else or whatever. My gut feeling is that they both stay until they get the job done. Draisaitl might be the Austin Matthews deal, a shorter term,
like a 4-year or something.
4-year extension, but that 4 years gives you the window of his best hockey and McDavid's best hockey. Draisaitl's a couple years older. What remind me? Is he 28 now?
He's 28. He's 28 right now, Draisaitl. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the one luxury I will say this is the Edmonton Oilers have the opportunity to offer that 8th year. Now, if Draisaitl cares about length of term, that's really where you can dangle that, because you can get a number up that the 8th year won't be able to match. Like other teams won't be able to get him. If it's 13, 14, you look at the sum of the whole contract, that 8th year, adds in that extra money. So that's what they dangle. But I would argue that, and I think if you're the fan base and take the organization, you say whatever number and whatever term, let's do this, because I think that those two want to play together until the business is finished. Now, again, that's just maybe selfishly from the outside looking at it, but I felt like if they won the other night, all bets are off. But right now, I do believe he wants to be committed to Edmonton. And again, I am not in the know. I know nothing from, I've spoken to Leon Draisaitl 5 times in my life. So there's no insight here other than just maybe an educated guess. I look at the Austin Matthews situation, giving himself a little bit of leeway here with that core group. He might do the same thing. Leon might do the same thing in Edmonton.
I like it. I think it's a good way to spin it. Them losing was great news for the organization.
Well, it's an interesting theory.
They got something to prove. Get
the job was
years,
finished.
Get it done. Get it done. I mean, get it done.
Well, I'm just going to go one bit further on that. In Edmonton, everybody talks about McDavid wants to go home. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Sorry, in Toronto, they talk about McDavid is going to play for the Leafs at some point. I don't know if that's true. I think that's just a fan base trying to press buttons, all of that type of stuff. But the point being is McDavid, as we saw in the playoffs, was a man possessed trying to win a Stanley Cup for himself, for his legacy, and for the Edmonton Oilers. I think that's still his focus. So, he's got a couple more years. He's going to want his running mate there. They're very close. They're best friends, all of that type of stuff. It wouldn't surprise me, even if Leon says, okay, I'll extend for a couple more years until we get this done type of thing. That's the way I look at it. So you're right. If you want a silver lining, I think there's unfinished business for that duo. And I think they're going to try and deliver before they do something else.
Excellent, Noodles. We appreciate the time, man. We will recap the first couple of days of free agency next week, and then we'll set you free for the summer, buddy. We appreciate the time.
Sounds good. We'll chat later.
There you go. It's Jamie McLennan, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, where they are going to be, the boys at Pro-Am are absolutely exhausted right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack and Ken are carrying Barry around like Weekend at Bernie's. It's like
Barry's great too.
It's just like they're moving their head. They're like, "Hey Barry, you want to get work done today?" So they're going to be closed Friday through Monday. Some well-deserved rest on a long weekend. I like that. But stay tuned for the granddaddy of all sales in July. Can you imagine after this run, getting more Oilers stuff on sale?
Gear up for the next run.
Right. Well, exactly.
That's, again, we're not, this isn't the end. Again, I just feel like this is a halftime break. And in terms of off-season timelines, this is going to be the shortest. You're taking a breather here. You got knocked out in the final. That's fine. You're on the mat. You get back up and you do this thing over again. With Connor Brown not coming off injury.
Yeah, you know what? I do. This is going to sound crazy to say when we're looking at like 3 months ago, but I'm very excited to see a full year of Connor Brown next year if they can bring him back.
We always heard coming off the injury, Oh, yeah, whatever. But
I just asked a question on Twitter. There's been lots of replies. Outside of the Draisaitl extension, what's priority number one for the Edmonton Oilers this offseason? 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. If you're watching over on YouTube, you want to see somebody farm some likes, I'm going to do that right now. If you want Leon Draisaitl to sign long-term, hammer the thumbs up on YouTube this morning. We would appreciate that. I mean, and if you don't, I guess you don't even want that.
I guess
That's
not.
so weird. Why would you not want that? So if you're watching on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up if you want Leon to stick around long-term. He texted Tommy yesterday and said, hey, if they get 1,000 likes, I'm going to sign tomorrow. So you better hammer that thumbs up. I'm just kidding. He didn't do that. But wouldn't that have been something?
At a discounted rate.
At a discounted rate as well. Siggy over in the Nasty Chat says, man, a healthy Connor Brown would be huge for the Oilers. If you like, the Connor Brown that we saw in the playoffs,
You got a taste.
that looks like the guy that you could slot alongside Connor McDavid like they originally thought at the beginning of last year. Like he looked like he was capable of playing that role. Now, I'm not saying put him into the top 6. He was fine where he was on that third line. But I think the Connor Brown we saw in the playoffs looked like the guy that the Oilers were hoping they'd get at the beginning of the season when they started him right next to his buddy Connor McDavid. So Connor Brown on a very, very reasonable number. I like that. We'll get to more of your text messages on the
Rip City Step Boone
priorities.
Jenner. Boone Jenner.
Oh, man, good old
No
Boone
doubt.
Jenner. If they could keep Matthias Janmark, Adam Henrique, and Connor Brown for like a total of like $6 million, it's gonna be impossible to do. I think mostly. Well, I don't know. I mean, you'll see. Talk to Adam Henrique and be like, "What do you think, man?" Yeah, he's done well in his career. He's probably done well financially. Is there a huge deal out there somewhere for Adam Henrique? Or does he look at it and go, I can be the third line center behind McDavid and Draisaitl and take another legitimate run at a Stanley Cup? And if need be, they can move me over here under the wing.
Sounds pretty sweet.
It does.
Like, that's the showcase. You open the briefcase, all those points are there, and
I think they're in a spot where some of these guys take less money to stay. I think that's what they've accomplished, and it happens. So let's see how it plays out. Well, right now, we're going to get to the $100,000 hole-in-one. We're going to get your cool bet hotline of the day, but we do have to get to That Hurts right now. We're going to do this in the 6 o'clock hour. Saved it for right now. We're going to hit it quickly today because this one actually does really kind of hurt for all you fans right now. But That Hurts is brought to you by SBLLP. Albertans suffer personal injuries and accidents every single day, but many of you are just too overwhelmed to seek the legal advice you need. So don't worry about it. Just leave it in the hands of the experts over at SBLLP, personal injury lawyers. They got the experience. They'll gather the evidence. They'll advance your claim and ensure you get the big bucks or whatever at least you're owed for your personal injury. Go to www.sb-llp.com. Click on personal injury or call 780-438-5281. No need to feel shame. Let SBLLP handle the claim. You know what hurts? Looking at a text message to the Edmonton Media Group today.
Oh.
Select player availability, approximately noon in the Hall of Fame room. Noon today, Boston Pizza, Argyle, Oil Stream, live on location. Join us for lunch. What hurts here is that what we should be looking at is a text from Jamie Cartmel that says, parade begins. This is the route. Instead, we're looking at select player availability at noon in the Hall of Fame room. I know in the 6 o'clock hour, I was like, it's okay. They'll be back. They have a great roster still. I think they're going to win the division next year in the regular season and finally get that home ice, maybe all the way through the playoffs. But that still hurts. That hurts today to read that coming in and saying player availability to wrap the season as opposed to get ready for the craziest Wednesday afternoon of all time. Like that's a little bit of a kick in the balls. So that'll be That Hurts today, presented by SBLLP, who probably would have got a lot of personal injury business from a parade, right? With how many thousands of people would have been on the street? How many hundreds of people do you think attend the Panthers parade? 300, 400? Probably end up being pretty good, I think.
Oh.
I saw a video yesterday of one of them standing at the corner of the street with a Stanley Cup, and cars wouldn't even let them like cross the crosswalk. They just kept driving. They're like, who's that guy? What's going on there?
That Alouettes parade last year, that was pretty big. Say that. It's just saying. It's a league where people care. And
yeah. Well, we'll see. I actually am legitimately intrigued. I'm sure it'll look. They'll hopefully make it
they'll
look good
dress
on
it
TV
up
and stuff. But
they'll shoot the camera angle.
It's going to be.
They'll have that section of the fans. Hey, everybody sit together like that so we can get you framed perfectly.
All right. So let's see here. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Dell over there. Dell, I don't know if anybody, like, if you're trying to get me, if you give me a good one. Dell says, hey, Dusty, you were going to drive Connor Brown to the airport. Now you think he's great. My, how times have changed. Well, Dell, you sure got me. When he sucked for the first 60 games of the year, you're right. I wasn't sure if he's going to be a great fit.
I, however, always knew.
Now he played great in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And yes, I think he could be a part of the future. It's funny how that works when a guy can't score for the first 55 games of the year, and you might be like, I don't know if this is going to work.
Well, DEL was in yesterday. She wants us to do like a Game of Thrones where we bend the knee to some Panthers thing.
That'll happen.
Sounds kind of gimmicky to me. I don't think.
All right, let's get to your $100,000 hole-in-one presented by Golf Town. Sadly, hockey season is over, but the good news is that golf season's just getting going. I heard Murray say that a bunch of the Oilers' Black Aces have been hitting the ranch, playing some golf, partying a little bit because I knew they weren't going to play.
Keep loose,
living that good life.
Yep.
But if it's time for you to hit the ranch, turn in that, take off that fan jersey, throw on the old golf polo, tucked or untucked. Somebody said I'm trying to become the host of Farming for Love.
Hey,
only on CTV. That's a weird one to me. I've never watched Farming for Love. But having grown up on a farm, I'm wondering if I could relate to it, maybe.
Yeah, with the Bell landscape, I could see you fill in on a couple of shows during the summer
point.
months. I'll be gone Friday. What are you doing? I fill in for.
I got to go host. They saw the shirt on Edmonton Sports Talk. We're like, that guy could host
How could
Farming
you say
for
no,
Love.
right? Yeah.
That'd be great. But put on a golf polo, hit the links, get everything you need to hit the links at golftown.com. Hop on their website, golftown.com. Tons of great details on all the deals that they've got over there as well. Today's keyword to get in the mix. Oh, and congratulations, Trevor. You're going to call our winner today. But if you want to qualify right now, text Ames, as in Stephen Ames, A-M-E-S. Text Ames, A-M-E-S, right now to 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Ames. Maddie's throwing it back a little bit.
It's just those
today
big
with the
pearly
words.
white teeth. Eh?
Oh,
Best
man.
teeth in the game. That's
Best
Stephen
smile
Ames.
in the bloody league. Ames, A-M-E-S. Text Ames to 780-218-9999. How it works if you're not familiar. One of you will be drawn randomly by Trev today. You'll go into a draw with 3 other people later on today here on EST. And one of the 4 of you will get a call tomorrow morning and win a swing at $100,000. This will be going down a week from today at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to be streaming the whole thing on the show. It's going to be incredible. We're very happy to team up with Golf Town and the Ranch to do this. And let's go get it. Let's go get somebody $100,000. Text 780-218-9999.
Ames.
A-M-E-S.
I love these contests near the end. Old Iwanika is just easy.
Oh, Maddie's saying.
Finger at the bottom of the jar. Just we got
Like
Stephen Ames down there.
At some point, the keyword's going to be Gooch for Taylor Gooch. All right, let's get to this morning's winner. Trev, who do we have here?
We've got Brock on the line.
All right, let's go to Brock. Brock, good morning. Congratulations. You're going to have a swing at $100K.
Hey, thanks, Dusty. That's awesome.
Hey, do you golf? Like, have you been out this year? Do you play once a week? Do you play every day? Have you not played in a few years?
I definitely play once a week.
Oh,
try to play.
Are you a men's league guy?
I am a men's league guy.
Nice. All right, we got a men's league guy. I can't wait till when we introduce you next week as he plays in men's league. Brock with a shot at 100. We should actually come up with funny intros for everybody, Rick. That'd be a fun time.
Of course.
Make a note of that. Let's find the time to come up with that. All right, man. What club are you going to be using from 180 yards?
Probably smooth as 6.
Smooth as 6. I like it. All right, man. Well, good luck, and we'll see you in 1 week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dusty.
All right, congratulations to Brock. Going to have a swing for $100,000 with Golf Town, Edmonton Sports Talk, and the Ranch. I've already been looking at the forecast. How early should I be looking at the forecast?
The problem is, even if it was like crap weather this summer, you knew it was crap, but you don't know. That's the problem. Every day it's like, well, might rain, might be cloudy, might be sunny, might be hot, might be cold, and then you go out there and it changes it's like you're living on the coast here. So I mean,
Josh Clausen.
Even this morning, I've been looking at the forecast, even for the next couple of days, and it's switched quite dramatically. So, cross them all right now for.
The forecast I'm looking at right now, that's for Calgary. I'm going to be in Calgary on Saturday. So I was looking at the forecast while I was packing today. Okay, let me see. What's our local forecast here? All right. So next Wednesday, it says there's a 40% chance of showers.
Okay.
And a high of 19.
Now remember, 40%. It's not 4% chance. That's 40% of the area will get showers.
So it could be raining in Sherwood Park all day, but out of the Ranch, it could be just.
And you
fine.
said what? 14?
19.
19. Yeah, I got 20 mix of sun and cloud.
That's it? Just a mix of sun and cloud?
30% chance.
Woo, it's already going down. It went down in 2 seconds.
Exactly.
I had it at 40%. 1 second later, 30%.
And it looks like a fairly calm day as well. Winds out of the north, clicking around 13K.
Good.
So
good. I like that. All right. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up, changing 200. Let's keep rolling. Bare minimum for these shows, even in the off season, even in the summer. 400 likes. Have to have it. Hammer the thumbs up over on YouTube today. We would appreciate that. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. If you are listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, please send the link to EST to all of your friends so they can join in on the fun as well. I don't know why it's so funny to me, but I love seeing all the aims trickle into the inbox. I don't know. It just seems funny. I don't know why. Cool Bet Hotline of the Day. We'll get to that coming up. We're going to get to free advice coming up for Damien Bunting. Macramalla is going to be by as well. Lots to get to here in hour number 2 on the show today. You can text your Macramalla intros to the Paris Jewelers inbox at 780-218-9999. It is the Nielson Show today and every day, presented to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Go see Daniel and his team. Tell them we sent you. They'll give you 15% off accessories for your new ride. Let's get to a sports update with LTE on the other side. Free advice. I need some advice today. How about that? I'm going to be asking the listeners for some advice. We'll go there on the other side of 7:30.
The NHL draft set to go Friday from Vegas. Yesterday, Pavel Datsyuk, Shea Weber headlining the Hockey Hall of Fame class of 24, both being selected in their first year of eligibility. Jeremy Roenick, meanwhile, finally elected. He's been on the ballot since 2012. He'll be joined by Natalie Darwitz and Chrissy Wendell-Pohl. David Poley and Colin Campbell, both selected in the Builders category. Riverhawks baseball back on Edmonton Sports Talk last night. It was the Hawks picking up their 5th straight win, 2-1 over the Bellingham Bells as they take the series opener. Game 2 of the 3-game set tonight back at Remax Field. Coverage starts 7:05 back here on Edmonton Sports Talk, as well as the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps. Prospects also victorious yesterday, 7-4 over the visiting Weyburn Beavers down at Centennial Park Field 9. The Prospects have the day off. They'll host Okotoks tomorrow back out in Sherwood Park. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. driving in 4 as the Jays snapped a 7-game slide with a 9-4 win over the Red Sox. Rubber match of that series gets underway at 5:10 this evening down in Boston. Yariel Rodriguez set to start for Toronto. The Knicks acquiring Mikal Bridges from the Nets yesterday, the first deal between the two teams since 1983. Knicks sending Bogdan Bogdanovic, 5 first-rounders, a first-round pick swap, and a second-round selection back to the Nets. The NBA draft also going tonight. The Raptors currently holding down the 19th overall pick, while the Atlanta Hawks are selecting first overall. On the pitch, Canada with a 1-0 win over Peru, while Argentina get past Chile 1-0. Canada sitting second in Group A on 3 points. They'll need a draw against Chile on Saturday to progress to the knockout round. Group stage action concludes at Euro 2024 today with 4 matches. It's all to play for in Group E at 10 o'clock as Slovakia face Romania. Ukraine will take on Belgium, while later this afternoon in Group F, Georgia play Portugal, and Czechia are up against Turkey. Sports Update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, including dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, where he's excited to announce this morning all of his sales associates will be back next season.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki with like a giant eagle's wings and singing lead vocals for Leonard Skinner with like an angel band. And I'm in the crowd hammered drunk.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
7:35 with the AM Nasty. Thank you very much for tuning in on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com on your way to work. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. Give us a sub. We would appreciate that as well. Got a quick text that came in here. It is the Nielsen Show presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Check them out, www.southfortchev.com, your go-to dealership for Silverado 1500s and heavy duties. From Josh Clausen.
Yeah, he's been all over Twitter. He's coming at you hard here.
He's coming at me.
He's coming at you. He's coming at me. He's coming at everybody.
Well, I mean, he says way too much uncertainty with the forecast beyond Sunday. I think we'll take that. I think that's good. He goes, and tell Eric to stop spreading that probability of precipitation misinformation.
But was I though?
Klaus, I thought you told us that's how it worked.
I think you got like I put my hand up. I said, no, that's not a chance. It is the area, right? That's
Klaus, did you not tell us 40% of the area is like 100% chance they'll get showers?
As much as we disagree with it.
Or is it the whole area, 40% chance that the whole area gets showers? I thought it was the other way.
I thought it was the other way.
I mean, it's very confusing.
And then he tweets at you here. Check this out. Oh no, he's the chain is
savage
off
this
old
morning.
Clausen this morning. He's
savage.
He's on Twitter and he's firing away at Nielson TSN 1260.
Oh no.
Gooch, as in Live Golf Player of the Year last year.
Look, man.
Twist the knife.
Klaus, you're gonna hate this, but I got to give it to you. Taylor Gooch, being the Live Golf Player of the Year, says everything you need to know about Live Golf. I said it. Give me the mitt. I almost had it. I almost had that Scalding Hot Takes mitt. Brought to you by Claiborne Services. All right. What are we going to do? Oh, Cool Bet Hotline of the Day. Quickly hit this. Then we get to free advice. What do you need help with? Free advice. We got you. Must be something coming out of this playoff run you need some help with. We'll get to that in a second. Rick, Cool Bet Hotline of the Day. We did good yesterday on the soccer. Let's run it back.
Hey, did we pick Austria to win or draw in the end?
Oh.
Because they won.
I thought we had them to win.
Yeah, okay, good.
I thought we had to win. And then we also went bonus play Canada. And Canada ended up winning.
Austria.
So today, tell me what you like.
Oh, God.
Slovakia, Romania.
Oh, man. The problem with this group is they're all on 3 points right now.
Okay.
Like there's no separation here. And Ukraine, Belgium also in the group. They Slovakia and Romania, I do believe, both need a draw. If they draw this match, the two of them, they're both through. So I think there's probably a gentleman's agreement. You would say that, okay.
Let's stop right there. That's the play. Plus 118, Slovakia, Romania, draw. They both need. If they both get the draw, they're in.
I think that's kind of the mathematical way that this works here.
Lock it in. Why would you not draw? I mean, you're probably going to draw anyway, but why would you not make sure it's a draw if you're both going to advance? Slovakia, Romania, plus 118. That is your Cool Bet Hotline of the day. CFL odds are up as well. I'm sure the guys will get into that with the Elks game tomorrow. The Elks are 7.5-point underdogs on the road against a very good BC Lions team.
Play the damn
road. They're a road dog tomorrow, aren't they? Yeah, they are. There's no doubt about that. Big time road dog.
Oh, you didn't know? You better call somebody. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, tonight, D-Generation X proudly brings to you its 6-time WWE Tag Team Champions of the World, the Road Dogg, Jesse James, the Badass Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws.
Oh, the New Age Outlaws. I love when he does that. Is Josh in the Paris Steelers inbox, Clausen?
Probably. Like
I think it is because it says it works out that it's a 40% chance of 1 square foot of the city of Edmonton will get rain. That's why the forecast is technically always right. You sly dogs.
Well, he's tweeted at me. He says it's the other way around. I still don't know what the other way around of what is.
Nobody knows. That's why it's so
he's
intriguing.
wound us up here. I don't even know what POP stands for. I thought it was probability of precipitation. What is the acronym stand? Like,
I think it's percentage of percentage. I don't know.
I
thought it was.
This is all.
I was going to say percentage chance of precipitation, but that would be PCOP. So that's not it.
It'd be cool if it was.
In my mind, I always thought it was percentage of precipitation, but that doesn't make any sense.
I thought it was probability. And I mean, I'm
that makes more sense.
I'm up for being wrong. I just don't show me the path, Josh. I'm trying here.
All right, let's get to free advice today for Damon Bunting. Every single time Bunting puts something on Instagram, it's just another property being sold. Legendary success with this guy. If you want to sell your home, sell it right now with Damon Bunting. I'm talking, he'll have it sold by lunch. You'll be at Popeyes getting some of those boneless wings with Bunting after he sells your home in 1 minute. The guy moves he moves units. He moves property. DamonBunting.com. Also, big shout out to Damon for being on as one of our sponsors on the pre and post game shows as well. A hell of a pre and post this year with Tommy Gazzola. All right, let's get to some advice. What do you need help with? 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Let's get to this one. You guys know how kids are. My boy, who really didn't have a favorite team in hockey, now wants to cheer for the Panthers because he watched them win. We live in Regina, so I don't technically want to force the Oilers on him, but the Oilers are my team. What do I do? Whew. This is a tough one. You know what? I probably, like, you don't want to force your kids to cheer for your team. But what I would probably do is, if he's going to be a front runner, and that's fine, a lot of kids are, Awanek still is, whatever. If you're going to be a front runner, the Oilers are probably going to win a cup in the next 2 years. He'll get to watch that. This guy say how old his kid is? Didn't say how old they are, but I'm assuming he's probably somewhere between like 7 and 11. I would think if the Oilers win, he's probably just going to start becoming a lifetime Oilers fan. And then once he gets into it, he'll realize how fun it is to cheer with Daddy on everything, and then it'll be locked in. So I just sit back and let it happen naturally, man.
Daddy likes.
That's what I would do. Guys, I called in sick yesterday and today after the playoff run. My boss likely knows what's up, but do you think I should call in sick for the rest of the week to make it look like I've actually been sick? Interesting strategy.
I'd keep up the what's the harm in keeping up the ruse here? You get more time off. The story, gets more of a.
It's a very popular saying: a cough and a call. Right?
Yeah.
You call in, you go, "Hey, man," and he's like, "Hey, tough for the Oilers. Seem to be back to work tomorrow." And you go, "No, I can't make it in. I'm actually sick."
Give him the week.
I'd say he'll say, "Don't you come around here?
Yeah,
take the rest of the week off." So yeah, I'd probably give him the call and the cough and
get it out of your system, and
see if it works. Probably need that time. Right? I think you need the extra time.
The deprogramming, the deworming.
That makes sense. Hey guys, a guy at work wants to bet me $100 straight up that the Oilers will still have Jack Campbell on the roster October 1st. Should I take it? So this guy would get $100 if he's gone. The other guy wants $100 if he's on the roster still. He has to be gone, right? Like you can't roll through another cup window year with Jack Campbell sitting there making what he's making, not playing on your team.
But you would need like a David Copperfield act here, right?
Whatever. Hire David Copperfield.
Would that be something
to be the general manager?
Disappear.
Yeah.
Downtown, big glass box. Yeah. You put him in there. You put a cover over it. Boom, he's gone.
The Oilers' new management structure is Jeff Jackson, Coffey/Stoff, Chris Angel. That's it. He's gone. He's done.
You take the cover off. Campbell's gone, and there's your AAV sitting right there.
Take the $100. Take the $100 bet that Campbell will not be on the roster October 1st. And you want to sprinkle a few of those winnings our way? We'll take them. That would be terrific. Here's one that I need advice for all the ladies out there or men who wear makeup. So, like during CFL season, when I go on TV, I'll put on some makeup.
Yeah, foundation.
Just a basic makeup. It lowers the glare from the lights. Anyway, when I do that during CFL season, my nose starts to get like a little rash. It gets a little red during CFL season. And then when CFL season ends, my nose goes back to normal like the rest of my skin. So I'm just wondering if there's any makeup tips that anybody has on should I use a different type of makeup? Should I get some sort of specific, legitimate, expensive makeup cleaner? I should probably ask Tommy this. Tommy probably wears makeup all the time.
The wrench is in the nasty chat.
Is the wrench there? The wrench. Help me out here, the wrench.
For you. He's probably got a... Yeah. I want one of those like old... you take a quarter, you breathe on it 3 times and just press it there. And
that would be cool. Yeah. I would try that.
And it gets rid of headaches or something. Like one of those...
But what do you think? Somebody's got to have some sort of remedy here because it frustrates me. By the end of CFL season, my nose is all kind of red and blotchy, and I'm like, damn it. Then I got to start wearing makeup other places, so people are like, why is your nose so red? And it's this vicious cycle you get in.
The nose is red from the makeup, not the dinners with suits, all season long, right? It's kind of funny how that lines up. Your nose gets more red as the season goes on, and these red wine
drinking
meetings.
The red wine.
I'm just
saying.
But
I usually don't drink really ever. Like that's outside of yesterday's show in the 7 o'clock hour, the Birdie Booze.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure it only happens during CFL season with the makeup, and I'm like, man, this is frustrating.
Maybe it's a seafood allergy from going out to the coast.
Big makeup money is brilliant, though. Because think about that. They give you makeup to cover your face, but then it messes with your face, and you need to buy more makeup.
Jen Cool says put a primer on first.
What the hell's a primer?
VR Montenegro suggests
is that like the button on a lawnmower? The primer?
Gazola says buy Mac, M-A-C.
I'm using Mac.
You got a Mac? You're on the Mac?
Do you think I'm going to go cheap on the makeup?
He's a Mac man.
I am a Mac man.
I'm a Mac man.
Every time I walk into a makeup store, I play Return of the Mac.
Yeah,
and I'm going in. I need HH22 or whatever it is.
Could be an allergy, though.
Whatever the number is.
Could just be a natural reaction.
Dab some concealer and then very little powder. Amish Man says 19. Ask your wife, Dusty. Well, I mean, the last thing I want to do is sit down with my wife and talk about makeup. That's weird. I'd rather talk to the thousands of people listening right now. Let's go. Great ass Fraser from the Nasty Chat says, just go full Mrs. Doubtfire.
If I turn on a broadcast going, hello from the hammer, I'm locking in, baby.
What is going on here? Hula Boy says, go to Sephora. Get them to help you. I usually go to the Mac store in West Edmonton Mall, but yeah. Anyway, it's something I have to. It's a vicious battle in CFL season. It's the price you pay to be on television. To Belanescu, who said, should I cancel my Dungeons and Dragons night to watch the Elks game tomorrow night? Of course you should. Should be a high-scoring football game. MBT is going to move the ball, and Vernon Adams is going to move the ball. VA, though, questionable. A little bit banged up, so we'll see what happens on that front.
At least he's got a long week to recover. They're the one team that doesn't have any of those short weeks. The only team in the CFL that doesn't have the short week that MBT was complaining about, the BC Lions.
The BC Lions? Really?
Do
they not have a short?
They don't have one.
Come on.
Yeah, a few teams have one. A couple other teams have a handful, Elks among them, but BC, the only one with none.
Well, they only have one extra day rest.
And they're way on the coast,
too,
so travel, you could argue.
All right, let's get to these advice. Is Macramalla ready to go? Okay, we'll get to Macramalla in 1 second. Mark and Michelle or Dylan Mitchell? I go Dylan Mitchell.
Oh.
Rashid Bailey or Reggie White Jr.? I think you got to go Reggie White after the week he had last week. Cody Fajardo or Zach Collaros?
Fajardo up against Toronto. Collaros has got to pop sometime.
Yeah, but without Dalton Schoen and without Kenny Lawler, I'd start Cody Fajardo. Yeah. And who should I start a Canadian, Dembski or Gittins Jr.? Well, without those other guys in, it's going to be a heavy target day for Dembski. So I think probably have to start Dembski. All of those questions come in from one. Lieutenant Eric.
The Memphis Mad Dogs, to be precise, picking up their first win. 1-2 now, a three-way logjam tie for second in your Dunya.
You don't have room to start both Dembski and Gittins?
I can, yes. I do have room.
It might not be a bad idea.
No, that will be the play.
But then are you starting Mitchell and Gittins? I mean, MBT is going to move that ball around anyway.
Well, Mitchell and Gittins, I kind of want Mark and Michelle, though. I kind of have a feeling, no?
What?
He's coming back. Yeah, I had some good numbers last week, and I know Calgary, I haven't seen too much of them. I don't know. I like spreading it out.
Oh, what do you think?
And Rashid Bailey in the mix, too. I mean, he also had a couple grabs.
What did he have last week, though? Like, I know he had a touchdown, but I think he only had like 1 or 2 catches.
I'll take the touchdown.
Yeah. I don't think I would not. I'll say this, and this is coming from a huge Rashid Bailey guy. I would not start Rashid Bailey this week.
My roster as it stands, Cody Fajardo, Reggie White Jr., Curly Gittins Jr., Kean Schaefer Baker on a bye, Dedrick Mills running back, Dembski Canadian, Montreal D, Sean White kicking. That's just I got Sean Bain Jr. on the bench, Dylan Mitchell on the bench.
Oh!
I'm going to be getting Bailey
and Michelle.
This
is your championship season.
I'm telling you, man.
This is your championship season.
Talking about the draft. Shove it up here.
All right. We got Eric Macramalla sitting by. I think I tweeted he's the guy who's in charge of getting people to the Florida Panthers parade. Tough gig.
Couple hours of work, eh?
EST legal analyst and guy who's starting to regret his prominent live, laugh, LARP tattoo, Eric Macramalla. Live, laugh, LARP. That's live action role playing. Hilarious. EST legal analyst and guy who completely stole Nielson's idea by opening up an onion ring batter food truck. God, that would work. EST legal analyst and guy who can't resist dropping a. So this is where all the dinks hang out when he's at a crowded journal. EST legal analyst and guy who keeps sending his adult film parody scripts to the Hallmark Channel because he got the fax numbers mixed up with Playboy's fax number. That's a good one. EST legal analyst and guy who giggles harder than is necessary when someone says penal code. An EST legal analyst and guy who puts the bone back into his boneless wings, Eric Macramalla. Macramalla brought to you by Park Mazda. Great staff over there. Macramalla, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
My man, I got my Dr. Phil mug right here. 2 thumbs up from Dr. Phil. The reason I have this mug, because they're asking, Eric, why do you have a Dr. Phil mug? And it's such a great question. And this is a really good example of me not, when I started a sentence, I don't really know how it's going to end, but I'm hoping for the best. So what happened is, years ago, I went down to see Dr. Phil live, right? This is like season 2 or season 3. It was America's Worst Husbands. One of the worst husbands was a guy that had a lazy boy in the garage, and his wife was angry. I'm like, huh? And anyway, we were in the second row. It was me and 2 other buddies. we were on TV the entire time, nodding our heads like this and going, no, you didn't, right? It's because we're only men in the audience under the age of, like, at that time, 35 years old. Now I'm 93, so it's entirely different. But I bought a Dr. Phil mug. It was beautiful. It was white. It had Dr. Phil on the top. His arms were crossed. It was like a fantastic legal picture of a lawyer. Arms crossed, chin up, right? My wife broke that mug recently.
Oh, no.
I know. And I still have the Dr. Phil bag from when I went to go, because this is like 25 years. I've been in Gallings for 25 years, so about 22 years or so. The bag is fantastic. And so for my birthday, for Christmas, bought me a replacement Dr. Phil mug. Now, it's not the same. It's green. I'm not a big fan of the green, personally. And he's kind of, it's not really him because he's happy, thumbs up. But that's the thing. Other thing is this. I was thinking about this when I want to talk to you about this. I know we have other things to talk about, whatever. But here's the thing there are certain things that we do in our lives where we ask ourselves the following question. Why in the hell didn't I do this earlier? Why in the hell have I not figured this out? And for me, the answer to that is hash browns.
Okay.
I've been making hash browns in the toaster oven now for a couple of months. I don't know what took me so long. My kids and I love it. We've all gained a couple 100 pounds, but they're delicious.
What type of hash browns are we talking? Because there's so many different types of hash browns.
Yeah,
There's the shredded hash browns, the cubed hash browns. Is it a patty hash brown? What are you talking with the hash browns here?
I'm talking about the rectangular hash brown, the one you get at McDonald's.
Okay.
Right?
All right, fair enough.
Where you pull up and go, I'm not having a hash brown. You walk away with 10 in the car. You're stuffing your face, right?
Yeah.
So you can buy those. I buy those at the grocery store, your version of Safeway. And I put them in a toaster oven. I'll make like 8 at a time. The kids will watch me eat them, and then they'll whatever lift the plate. But it's so great. And I know that everything I eat is bad for me. I know it's going to kill me, but I'd rather die with a smile on my face. Agreed? So when you guys come to my funeral, the coffin will be extra large. There'll be a room in a regular coffin for me. But I want you guys to get up on stage and say, Eric had a good life because he was happy in all the hash browns he could possibly eat.
I'm going to eat a hash brown while I'm at your funeral.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Because I know that's the way you would have liked it.
Brown.
Yeah.
I want to be sprinkled with hash browns, frozen ones, so they defrost over time, and then I can eat them. Because I believe in many lives. I'm kidding. You die, it's over.
I think that, so I love when you discover something new, because I was telling people yesterday that I discovered something new for the first time too, and that's PowerPoint. I've never used
Vision.
No. I've never used PowerPoint before. And my God, I have to tell you, man, it's pretty handy. It's pretty convenient. I'm going to start doing so many PowerPoint presentations. No, I've never used it. I'm brand new to it.
I just had a flashback to Succession. You are not a serious person. How is that possible?
It's a great question. As somebody texted in yesterday, I said, Dusty, it's a program that launched in 1987. How are you just learning it now? And I don't know. I've never felt the need for it, but I'm going to start doing presentations on like the TV here. I'm going to do so. Do you ever use a PowerPoint in the law room?
Lights, please.
In the courtroom?
No, but I use them a lot because I give a lot of talks and I present and I'll use it. And the fun part is the fade in and fade out from like different slide to slide. You can make it random. It's so much fun. It's so great. And I remember when I was teaching sports law at the Faculty of Law at Ottawa, did it for a long time, and every student had to present. And those who use PowerPoint got a great grade, right?
Yeah.
But those that use some homemade, nonsensical garbage application where it was just them trying to bypass the big man in the corporation, I failed them because they pay the bills. But you should do PowerPoint presentations constantly. My wife did one on lovemaking the other day. It turns out that women can also orgasm. What?
Eric Macramalla with us on the show this morning. Hey, Gary Bettman yesterday was on his annual, the NHL.
Orgasm, yeah.
Easy transition here. He was on his annual, the NHL is in such a great spot. This might have been the best season they've ever had. Do you think the NHL is in a really good spot right now? Is that where the league is at right now? They're finally getting rid of Arizona. Like, are they in a good spot right now?
The playoffs just ended, right?
Yeah, it's 2 days ago.
The NBA starts a month later, and it's been over for 2 weeks. I mean, I think if they could, they would go all the way to the end of August and go straight to camp. That aside, this being the longest playoff ever, and I'm very sorry for your listeners. I have pictures of my boys and I wearing Oilers gear, really excited for Game 7, and man, were they pissed. But a great effort by the Oilers to get there. Really, really tough. And I hope Leon re-ups with the Oilers next week, or probably take longer. He's German. It takes time, right? He's very thoughtful and meticulous. But The NHL, I guess, is in a decent place, right? But the issue is what it always is that there's a culture issue with the NHL. It's kind of stuck in the dark ages. And until they address issues that are top of mind, namely the brain and how to protect it and everything that goes around that, it's a league that will struggle and continue to be niche. But it's obviously a lot of fun to watch for you and I, and of course for low energy Jeb Bush, Eric.
Eric, well, I got to ask too, under the veil of the Stanley Cup, Alex Murillo quietly just leaving Arizona. We could have used a PowerPoint for that, could we not? Just to kind of spruce up that announcement and everything involved. He's an interesting fellow.
I really thought they were going to give him another team.
Very trustworthy, I find.
I just some breaking news. Gary Bettman has said the Stanley Cup Final is now a best of 15. So the series is back on.
Good.
It's back on.
Good. I still like their chances. I like their chances still. I think the Oilers are going to win it.
It was goalie versus goalie, I guess. Whatever.
Bobrovsky was pretty good in Game 7. Hey,
they're blocking everything, right? I mean, not a lot got to the net.
The Panthers were in front of everything, I thought, last game.
Connor McDavid, he blew a tire twice. You don't see that a lot. I'm just curious, what were your views of how he played in Game 7? Let me misappropriate your views as my own. I'm talking to my friends, namely the homeless.
Well, I think him falling down a bit has something to do with the ice. Everybody talked about how bad the ice was there because Connor McDavid usually doesn't take a tumble when he's trying to put together a tight turn. So I think that's probably tied in there.
Intentional bad ice?
Well, you know what? Somebody did say yesterday that the Panthers built their team around knowing that they get to play half their games on horrible ice all year. So, I mean, I don't want to buy into too many conspiracy theories, but I think, we know the ice was better in Edmonton than it was in Florida. Part of me thought they just ran out of gas after working so hard to come back when they were down 3-0 because they just didn't seem to have a lot of juice in Game 7. And I give credit to the Panthers for maybe having a big part in doing that. But the Oilers just didn't seem to have that extra jump that they had in Games 4, 5, and 6.
What do you think about Stephen A. Smith saying he wanted to see more from Connor McDavid? And it was just he fell short of that.
Sadly, I don't care about that too much. But I know what I do care about. Stephen A. Smith. What was the number I tweeted out? He wants more than $18 million a year or something like. That's ridiculous in the United States. How much these loudmouths get to be on television? It's incredible. It's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I was offered sponsorship by a dry cleaner in town, but they've gone bankrupt, so it's not going to happen. I totally understand that. I think Stephen A. Smith talking about hockey is something you shouldn't be talking about. I thought McDavid was had a phenomenal run, man. They just shut him down. Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that.
Hey, you're buddies. Are you still buddies with Draisaitl's agent?
Yes, we are good friends. Yes.
All right. Can you please tell him to tell Leon to sign an 8-year max?
Not working well.
You tell him to sign his client in this city, Macramalla.
Presentation. No, my whole goal is to get McDavid and Draisaitl play for the Canadians. Right? So he's got a lot of good clients like Rantanen as well, and Patrick Laine will make his comeback, and he's got a nice stable. And I want them all to play for the Canadians because the Canadians can't score. Whatever, scoring may not be that important. Maybe it's not, but the team is small and can't score. So the future is bright for the Canadians. It's nice.
God. We got to let you go now. People are going to hate your guts, as usual. And we'll talk to you next week, buddy.
I'm not very likable. I'm the opposite of Jerry Seinfeld. Please, how could you like me? It's impossible. I love you guys more than Jerry Seinfeld's mom, who's dead. You guys
love you, buddy. We'll see you later. There you go. That's Eric Macramalla, brought to you by the great staff over at Park Mazda. And he's just chilling at home in a T-shirt today. That's a busy lawyer, and he's just sitting at home in a T-shirt today.
Friends of Draisaitl's agent?
He is good buddies with Draisaitl's agent. So at the moment Draisaitl signs long-term, I'm crediting Eric Macramalla with it.
I think, one of the first people you think.
I think so. If you're watching over on YouTube today, we are almost to 300 likes, so let's hammer that thumbs up over on YouTube this morning. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. We've got the Hangout coming up today. The Lock Shop and the Oil Stream will both be live from Argyle Boston Pizza, so you can swing by Argyle BP's today, and Tommy and I will be there doing Oil Stream today, and we got lots to get to as the transition begins into a very quick turnaround in the off season. So swing on by if you come on by BP's today. I'll buy you beverage at lunchtime. So swing on by on your lunch, or if you have the day off, come on by. We can have a nice little chat. Should be a pretty good time. You can come there, you can sit there, you can listen, and you can text in your questions while you're sitting right there with us. It's a pretty cool setup, actually. All right, let's do this here on the Nielson Show, presented by Southfort Chevrolet. Visit them right now at southfortchev.com. We have to play a little kind of easy trivia. If you would like to play kind of easy trivia today, text Trev right now, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, and let him know that you'd like to play. We've got a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual up for grabs. Who doesn't want a GC to Mr. Mike's? I mean, come get it, pick it up, go for lunch, won't cost you a thing. Terrific deal is what we got here for you. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Text Trev and let him know that you would like to play kind of easy trivia today. 3 questions too many on the way. That's good for the Italian Center Shop on the way as well. Greg Wyshynski with ESPN just after 8:30, and the weekly rankings of power with Lieutenant Eric all on the way in hour number 3 today. Right now, we've got a sports update for Claiborne Services. If you are looking for work, or you want to change in career, or you want to make a ton of money in a short period of time, Claiborne Services, they want you. www.claiborneservices.com. Rick's got more on that after all the latest in the world of sports.
Edmonton Riverhawks back on the air last night here on Edmonton Sports Talk. They pick up their 5th straight win, 2-1 over the Bellingham Bells, taking the series opener, game 2 of the 3-game set tonight down at Remax. And back here on Edmonton Sports Talk, as well as the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, coverage begins at 7:05. According to sources, the Sabres are expected to buy out the remaining 3 years of Jeff Skinner's contract. Meanwhile, Pavel Datsyuk and Shea Weber headline the Hockey Hall of Fame class of 24, both being selected in their first year of eligibility. Jeremy Roenick elected after being on the ballot since 2012. He'll be joined by Natalie Darwitz and Chrissy Wendell-Pole. Both David Poley and Colin Campbell, both selected in the Builders category. The NHL draft will go Friday from Vegas. Back over to baseball, the Prospects with a 7-4 win over the visiting Weyburn Beavers. Prospects have the day off. They'll remain at home and host Okotoks tomorrow out in Sherwood Park. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. drove in 4 as the Jays snapped a 7-game slide, 9-4 over the Red Sox. Rubber match of that series goes later tonight. 5-10 from Boston. Yariel Rodriguez set to start for the Bluebirds. New York Knicks acquiring Mikal Bridges from the Nets yesterday, the first deal between the two teams since 1983. The NBA draft will go tonight. The Raptors currently holding down the 19th overall pick, while the Atlanta Hawks hold the first overall selection. On the pitch, Canada with a 1-0 win over Peru at the Copa America, while Argentina get past Chile 1-0. Canada now sits second in Group A on 3 points. They'll need a draw against Chile Saturday to progress to the knockout round. Group stage action concluding at Euro 24 this morning and this afternoon. 4 matches on the docket. All to play for in Group E at 10 o'clock. Slovakia will take on Romania, while Ukraine faces Belgium. Later this afternoon at 1, Group F wraps up. Georgia take on Portugal, while Czechia will play Turkey. Take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing they are an industry leader in safety. Check them out today at www.claiborneservices.com, or make it easy and call Jeff, 780-910-6728.
Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.804 with the AM Nasty. Thank you very much for being here. Edmonton Sports Talk kicking off another great day of content. We got the hangout coming up at 9 o'clock today. The Lock Shop at 11, and the Oil Stream live from Boston Pizza at noon today. Riverhawks in action tonight right here on EST. And we will have your Green and Gold kickoff show tomorrow, 7 o'clock from Century Casino, Fort Road. Go join Maddie and Milne and Atif and a few other folks who are going to be up there for that game. I love this text. Came in from the Wolf, says, guys, I got a 6-hour drive today. You know what that means? Nothing but EST. Plus, you guys have almost sold me in going to an Edmonton Football Club game the next time they're at home.
Good.
And that's what we're here to do.
See you down at the tailgate. Let's have a couple wolf howls down at the tailgate.
EST tailgate will be set up. It'll be great. Zach to come YouTube Travel, living their best life down in the tailgate. Everybody feeding them the booze and the beverages and the burgers. It'll be a good time. July 14th. My wife's birthday that day at the Elks game. They're all going to come. It's going to be a good time. And I wish I could be in the stands crushing beers that day, to be honest with you.
Elks, Red Blacks.
I have to be responsible and work. So, yeah, July 14th. Elks will be in action in BC tomorrow. Then they go on a bye week. And then back home against Ottawa on July 14th. All right. Who is playing Kind of Easy Trivia today? Who do we got, buddy?
We've got Chris on the line.
All right, Chris is going to play Kind of Easy Trivia today, looking to get his hands on a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever in the Hampton Inn on the corner of 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail. They got the 6 o'clock lager in the house, ready to roll for you. You said Chris, right? All right, he's going to need to get 3 out of 5 correct to win that gift certificate to Mr. Mike's. Chris, you ready to go, man? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, I'll start the ticker after read the first question. Good luck. Here we go. Which Edmonton Oiler led the playoffs in points?
Connor McDavid.
Which Edmonton Oiler led the playoffs in goals?
Hyman.
Which Oiler led the playoffs in defenseman scoring?
Bouchard.
Name one team that Pavel Datsyuk played for.
Red Wings.
Which city is home to the NBA's Knicks?
New York City.
Boom. 5 for 5.
Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am. Get it right.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
That's a peddling.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules.
Oh, you better believe that's a peddling.
And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
That's a peddling.
The first year we took it to the limit.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Congratulations to Chris. He's going to Mr. Mike's. He's got that gift certificate. 5 for 5. Huge sports nerd. He even knew what city is home to the Knicks. Hashtag Association City. We know you all love basketball. We know you love it. Nielson Show today and every day presented to you by the fine folks at Southport Chevrolet. Go see Daniel and his team at Southport Chev. Tell them that we sent you. And not only will they take good care of you, they'll also give you 15% off accessories on your new ride. Interesting.
Accessories?
Yeah,
Pretty
accessories.
broad term.
So what are we talking for accessories here?
Can I tow a car behind the truck?
Oh, the hitch.
That'd be an accessory, right?
Oh, you want a second vehicle?
Yeah, you don't know if you don't ask, right? Like,
I think running boards. But what else can we? What else can we?
a box cover. Hey, would that be
Oh, a
something
box
to,
cover.
You know,
I mean,
you get
that
a
would be a
nice
good
box
one.
cover?
I had to get a box cover after the fact. It was pricey. I would like 15% off that box cover. So yeah, that's a pretty good idea. What else is? What other accessories? All you truck drivers out there. I'm still learning my truck. There's like lots of things I don't know about it yet. But some of you probably got good ideas on accessories. You can get 15% off accessories on your new ride at Southport Chev. Check them out, www.southportchev.com. Asking you a little bit earlier today on Twitter, Edmonton Oilers' #1 off-season priority. Try to get into a few of those. I think coming up with, that's good. Because you know what's good? Off-season's good.
What off-season?
Off-season is always fun. They're building a new roster, keeping some guys, letting other guys go, bringing in new faces that everybody gets really excited about, and then are a little bit disappointed like in November and December. And then in like April, you're like, hey, this guy might actually contribute in the playoffs, and then it works out really well.
And it'll be the shortest.
Yeah, very quick. Usually we have at least like 6 weeks to set up what we need to set up in the next 4 days. So there's going to be a real whirlwind here. And then before you know it, rookies are reporting to training camp. And then it's on again, which should be a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll be able to sneak in a few EST drafts along the way. And yeah, we got a busy summer over here as well. And I'm telling you, you're going to love the content that we've got planned starting in September as well. Strummy says truck nuts. Oh, that's a good one. Mike G Vlogs says a light bar. Huh. What's a light bar? I don't know. Is that on the back of the truck? Is it on the side of the truck? Is it on the front of the truck? Trev, do you know what a light bar is?
It's like it's where your headlights are usually. It's like just another light, but it's like a bar and it's extremely bright.
And it goes like along the bottom? Or like, where does it go? Like all the way along the bottom of the front of the truck? Or
I think it's like above your headlights, I believe.
Above the headlights?
If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong, but I know
makes you look very futuristic.
That was like the thing back home. Everyone was always get the light bar because it's pretty cool apparently.
South Fort Chev.
Get the light bar.
All the accessories one could ever want at 15% off if you tell them that we sent you. All right, let's get into 3 questions too many today. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segment?
Sure do. 3 questions too many. Brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, where they'd all like to wish Glenn Sather a happy retirement this morning. Park Mazda, your dealer for life.
Hell of a run there.
Slats.
That's what they call them.
Yeah,
They call them slats.
Puffing on a big stogie.
And that's a great run. Now he can really sit back and smoke those cigars, and relax a little bit.
He was doing lots of work with the Rangers, I know.
Yeah.
Now you can finally relax. Yes, of course.
Hell of a run. Obviously extremely important in this market for such a long time. Set the stage for just an incredible decade.
And when you do all that, you do get to the point where you can kind of work these final years and smoke your cigars.
I was thinking about this. When the Oilers lost to the Islanders in the Stanley Cup Final, do you think there were people who were writing into like Jonesy and Matheson in the newspaper in like an editor's section?
I hope so.
That were like, they'll never win with Wayne Gretzky. Man, this Grant Fuhr guy, they'll never win a cup with Grant Fuhr. I don't think Coffey plays good enough defense. They should probably move him. Do you think they can't play this? Who's this Jerry Karai guy from Finland? You're never going to win a Stanley Cup championship with a Finnish player. Like, do you think there were those articles, like those letters to the editor that were submitted to the Journal and Sun back in the day after the Oilers didn't win the cup? Or do you think people are just different nowadays?
You can see it all now. Like, I'm sure they got letters.
Yeah.
Everybody wrote into the paper with their 2 cents, but we didn't all see it.
I want people to start writing letters to us and mailing them to us, and we get it in the morning, we pick it up, and we
take
read
it. Yeah.
That'd be pretty fun,
I love
actually.
getting a good letter.
I think that'd be a lot of fun. Do you have a Twitter account, Rick?
I do. It's at Lieutenant_Eric. You can also follow Edmonton Sports Talk at YEG Sports Talk. It's the place to be to keep updated with everything and anything going on EST.
Question number 1. Boys, what do you think of the Panthers giving R.A. from Spittin' Chicklets the cold shoulder after the game?
I loved it. It got them more clicks and views too. I mean, it just adds to the wrestling angle of what they do.
Yeah.
Playing sides and doing all that. So, yeah, I love that the Panthers didn't really, like, who was it, Thornton down there on the ice?
Horton. It was Horton.
Horton, yeah. I liked it. It was very refreshing to say, no, you weren't riding with us. Get out of my house.
That was pretty good, actually. Did I say Horton? It was Thornton.
Sean Thornton.
It was Sean Thornton.
Yeah.
But like both Kachucks, Dad Kachuk and Son Kachuk. I mean, if you're going to be dancing around in suites at Rogers Place, clearly on the Oilers side of this battle, and then be down post-game on the ice thinking that these guys are going to want to talk to you, you're delusional.
You don't get 2 rings.
Like, why the Spittin' Chiclet guys do a really good job of marketing, obviously. They're brilliant in that aspect of it. And they usually do a pretty good line, of like being on both sides. But let's be honest. I mean, those guys were fully invested in the Oilers
the Sean
during
Thornton
this playoff
quote,
run. So, yeah.
No, F you. Why are you even out here? Bandwagon jumping mother effer. That was Sean Thornton.
Which was deserved. I mean, it was deserved. Like, with all of the content that they churned out promoting the Oilers, why in the world do you think you'd go out there on the ice after and talk to Matthew Tkachuk about winning the Stanley Cup?
Thornton's was pretty good, and he was obviously working there, but Papa Tkachuk, you could tell when he got the tap on the shoulder, turned around and it was him. I think he probably wanted to take a swing.
Yeah. They just didn't deserve any better.
No,
they made their bed in the series, and you have to live with it at that point.
Yeah.
And I also say this, and they had a lot of fun when they were here in Edmonton. But for everybody who's like, oh man, there's Spittin' Chicklets and the Oilers, like, let's be honest. If the Vancouver Canucks or Calgary Flames are in a Stanley Cup Final, you're going to see the same type of thing from the boys there too. I mean, I don't want to say they used you for a couple of weeks, but hopefully you had a good time.
Yeah,
and it was a good sleepover, if you know what I mean. But I mean, if another team is in the Cup final next year, they're going to be there picking a side
milking.
too. So.
I'm milking.
Yeah,
I'm doing
and
action
that's
milking.
why they're brilliant at what they do.
Yeah.
They know how to milk the right things at the right times, and they came in, took advantage of what was going on in Edmonton, and left. I mean, it's that simple. So I thought it was kind of funny when I saw them get shot down by the Panthers, because if I played for the Florida Panthers, I'd be the exact same thing. Like, screw off, man.
I don't even know how he got in the room there near the end, too. I mean, he's...
Yeah. Anyway, that's... I thought it was kind of... How do you expect anything else?
Gazzola says 100 truth, Dusty. He's...
Yeah, well, it's just...
He agrees.
I mean, can you imagine what it would have been like if the Oilers won? And it would have been completely different because they were fully invested in the Edmonton Oilers.
McDavid would have handed it to Biznasty.
I mean, probably.
Yeah. That's
probably at some point that would have happened. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny, man. It was it was kind of hilarious. That's good. All right, let's see here. Guys, which UFA do you think the Oilers need to make a priority with their limited cap space? God, I love UFA cap space. This is going to be good. Next couple weeks are going to be great.
Well, does it have to be one? Can we combine 3 names together? Like, let's just do the line here, right? Like, bring the line back. Some sort of package deal, right?
Henrique, Janmark, Brown.
Package them up.
All take a discount to try to bring the cup to Edmonton.
Some nice round number.
Legends
I mean, that
forever.
Screams out to me here. After what we've seen.
You're
going Carrick, aren't you?
Are you getting the playoff version of these guys?
Adam Rooney. Feel the urn. No, that's a good point too. Somebody did text in earlier, to which I skipped over the message, but buyer beware, basing deals off of a playoff.
Well,
run
and
here,
that's what you worry about.
Again, I know we're all hot and heavy right now, but
Matthias Janmark was amazing in the Cup final.
But
he literally didn't piss a drop offensively the entire regular season.
Sure, yeah.
Part of the penalty kill and everything, I get that. Didn't hurt you a lot, but didn't help like he helped offensively in the playoffs. So maybe there's another gear there. If Connor Brown plays like he played in the playoffs, you definitely want him back. But who's the priority? I guess the price tag on Henrique would be interesting. Like if Henrique comes in at a very reasonable number, I think that's a guy that you definitely like to lock back in. I'd like to see all 3 of those guys back. I don't think you're making Fogle a priority. I got time for Fogle to be back on this roster again.
Contract year Fogle, right? So
contract year Fogle. If he's gonna get a mini bag somewhere else, it's not like a big bag. It's like a mini bag. If you're gonna get a mini bag somewhere else, then the Oilers aren't gonna be able to do that for you. But I'd love to see all of these guys just take nice discounts to stay here and run it back. That'd be kind of fun to see.
Oh, it'd be a hell of a statement of intent. I mean, just that happening. During the summer
100%,
to kind of.
It's not reasonable to think that because these guys are professionals. They got to look out for themselves. If some team's going to offer them $800,000 more a year than what the Oilers can afford, you're not going to blame them for taking it. But if some team offers them $800,000 a year and they decide to like $800,000 more a year and they decide to stay in Edmonton and take another run at it, I sure hope to hack that. As a fan base, you very much appreciate that.
Yeah, and Adam Henrique, 34, Warren Fogle, 28. I mean, you could maybe argue they're in age, and again, they're all human beings with different things in their lives. Henrique maybe, sand through the hourglass thinking this is a shot, or Fogle, yeah, he had a pretty good year, and maybe you do get that, as you say, mini bag somewhere else, but yeah, to answer your question originally, I will go with the line, package deal.
Yeah, but you're not like dropping a 3-year deal worth $2 million on Matthias Janmark because of the play. Like,
no,
you cannot do that.
Yeah, there's a middle ground here.
Yeah, we like you. We can give you this. We totally open to you go and try to get more somewhere else. But if you can't find it, here's the number here, and we'd love to have you back. I'm sure that'll be a conversation with a bunch of those guys. Probably Fogle included as well. Like, here's your number. This is what we can fit in.
I mean, he is part of the core, right? In a sense,
love to have you back.
The group, and
if it's time to move on, you move on. Like they're close, right? It's not like they can't win a Stanley Cup with 90% of this roster. They were this close to winning it this year.
You got as close as you can without losing it in overtime, essentially.
Yeah,
like that's.
All right, what do you think? Question number 3. Guys, in honor of that NBA trade, would you trade Connor McDavid for 6 first-round picks? Because Macala Bridges went for 5 in a pick swap, right?
Yeah, I mean, today, no. But certainly maybe some situations where you're looking down the barrel about, like, talking situationally speaking. Today, no. They're obviously in the window. We're talking about going back and getting the cup again, so no, not now. But I mean, 6 first-round picks, man. It's tantalizing stuff. And just to see the deal take place.
Couldn't do it. I don't think you could ever do it. Trev, somebody came to you, right? Like, obviously, this is a silly question. I shouldn't even have gone with this question. It came in the inbox. I shouldn't have gone with this question. It's a silly question. The answer here is, now there might be some people, like, there's still those guys who are like, listen, they had their shot at it.
Yes.
They didn't get it.
There will be one.
He's going to be a free agent here right away. Of course, Draisaitl's going to leave, like this full-blown panic thing. There might be the odd person out there who'd be like, I'd take the 6 first.
You can make a case, maybe, yeah.
I couldn't do it. There's no chance in hell. I would not trade that guy for anything in the entire world if you're trying to build a Stanley Cup winner. I mean, you've already gone through all the pain and suffering that you have. Like, you've checked off so many of these boxes. There's just one left to check. YouTube Trev, I know your answer to this, but how ridiculous is the question, do you think?
Yeah, like if I knew that McDavid was going to jump ship, if he was going to leave, not re-sign kind of thing, then I'd probably be open to it. But you'd have to get a few roster players in there as well, along with the first-round picks. But, I mean, no, like, just he was that close. Like, obviously, if you're the manager of the team, you want to see him win that championship here in Edmonton. So he's an untouchable.
Well, and he wants to win a championship in Edmonton. I said it yesterday on the show. Like, there's zero chance Connor McDavid leaves this city if the only thing he's won is Conn Smythe in a losing year. That would be there's just no, I don't see that being a part of the way that dude's built. There's just no way. And Jamie McLennan said it today. We've already said we're going to get the t-shirts next year for Edmonton Sports Talk. Unfinished business. Boom. That's what this is now. This is unfinished business. You're that close, you got to get the job done. And that's what those guys will do. All right, there you go. That's 3 questions. Too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda. Let's get into that's good for the Italian Center Shop, where they got the take and bake pizzas, or you don't even have to take one of the pre-made ones. You can do what Trev does sometimes. You go in, you get the bottom of the pizza pie, and then you can go around, you can buy the different ingredients, you make your own pizza pie at Italian Center Shop. All of their locations. They got the take and bake pizzas. You can slide on in, pop it in the oven. It's like 10 minutes, and you've got dinner just sitting there waiting for you. Trev, throw up Italian Center Shop, because we're gonna dive into that's good right now, and it's the conversation. We've become so used to off-season talk here.
What off-season?
I do get excited for it. I get really excited for the off-season talk. Like, they've come close. They almost won the Stanley Cup. They didn't. It's over. It's time to start looking at next year's team. And I love the offseason. That's good. Give me off-season conversation. So I asked the question today over on Twitter. What is priority number 1 for the Oilers in the offseason outside of long-term Draisaitl contract? Like, that's the easy one. You want to see them rolling out Draisaitl next week and being like, it's 8 years. He's going to be the highest paid player in the league until Connor McDavid becomes the highest. Like, something along those lines. I know many of you don't want to be the highest, but you want this guy done. I thought Noodles made an interesting point today about maybe you get him for 4 years and they say, here, give you 4 more years after this year. That takes him up to like 33. If you haven't been able to deliver a cup by then, maybe it's not going to happen, and then everybody moves on and you start over. But here's some of your answers to what's priority number 1 in the offseason outside of the long-term Draisaitl contract. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you can answer this question. If you're listening on TuneIn, iHeart, or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, you can text us in the Paris Jewelers inbox at 780-218-9999. Is this Gensel stuff actually happening right now? What's going on here?
Gensel, Vancouver?
No, I think Ryan's just saying Gensel is going to Vancouver.
Oh, Ryan Anus back in the chat, eh?
Yeah.
That's good to see.
I'm sure Vancouver wants to be in on a bunch of different guys. They probably need to if they're going to try to get by the Oilers in the playoffs. Just saying.
You did say
Kevin McCurdy says they need to get younger. This one says they need to get rid of Nurse and Campbell. Trying to find a way out from under the last 6 years of the Nurse deal. John Puck on Twitter. Man, Twitter is an interesting place, isn't it? John Puck says, making sure Ken Holland is not involved in any hockey-related decisions making whatsoever. It was mostly the guys he inherited that carried him to Game 7 of the Cup, while Bill Zito built most of his Cup-winning team on his own. I mean, John, I get it. And I know some people have accused me of being like a Ken Holland apologist. Others have said I've been too hard on him. So to me, that's perfect. But he did bring in Matthias Ekholm and Zach Hyman. And you're not losing in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup. And I know it sounds so lame to say you're not losing in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final without those guys. And if he didn't do some of the other deals he made that have more money to put them over the top, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand it. But he has put together. Look at the roster when Ken Holland took over with the tire fire that was left behind to where it is now. He's put them in a better spot. A couple of his moves have made the next job of the general manager, whoever takes over for him, a little bit more difficult. But this team is in such a better spot than when he took over. So he's had some misses that have hurt them. He's also done some good things. Sorry to have a even level take.
You apologist
on Ken Holland.
Why do you hate him so much?
I mean, he screwed up majorly with Jack Campbell, and if that doesn't happen, and they got money somewhere else.
Yeah,
it all works out. But he's also got them some really good.
Chiarelli
pieces
set
as well.
the bar, and Holland's jumped over it. Correct?
Yeah, but the bar was like here.
Well, hey, but I'm just saying, it's
Elizabeth could jump over the
yeah,
bar.
I know,
that
but
Chiarelli
if that's
set.
the bar. That's the bar, and he has hopped it.
Yeah. All right, let's get to a few more. PDO King. God, what a handle. Fixing the second pairing. He's talking about on the blue line. Dennis says, convincing Connor Brown to sign for $1 million to even out that bonus, and then convince Broberg that +7 in the Cup Final is no big deal when he signed in that RFA deal. Kikuchi's beard. Now that's a handle.
There we go.
That's why you got to be on Twitter. Kikuchi's beard says, getting rid of Nurse. Oh no, he says Bouchard extension ? The one memorabilia group says getting rid of Nurse and Campbell. Janmark, Brown, and Henrique solidifying that third line. Buyout Campbell. Nurse isn't going anywhere, so people should jump off of that thought. That is, that's a good point too. As we dive into off-season talk here with, that's a good. Like if you were going into this off-season thinking and hoping and actually legitimately believing that they're going to move Darnell Nurse, you will be extremely disappointed. Like the Jack Campbell thing, legitimate conversation. You have to do something. You cannot bring back a roster that you think is going to have a legitimate shot at actually finishing the job next year and be wasting Jack Campbell money. You can't do that. That has to be priority number one. When it's all said and done, free up the Jack Campbell money. If you are stupid enough to roll back in here next year and be like, a fresh start, reset, Skinner, Campbell, the guy, you can't do that. There's no way this organization would be dumb enough to run that back again. So I don't care how you have to get out of it. I don't care what you have to pay to get out of it. You have to get out of it and use that money for something that can help you next year. That's priority number one. But to think that Darnell Nurse is legitimately going to be moved, I mean, have you not been paying attention? That's not happening. It's not happening. Sergeant Obvious on Twitter this morning. Soup buyout, that would be Campbell. Re-signing Brown and Janmark and Rico. Figuring out what's going on with Clowder and Fogues. And probably want to sign Picker to an extension at least for 1 year. Mikko Lehtinen says, improving the right D, which probably should have been a priority at the trade deadline. Also, Derail says, D-man to play with Nurse because he's not going anywhere, a backup goalie, and 3 bottom 6 players for around $6 million. Nelzy29 over on Twitter says, an upgrade on second pairing right D. If that was done at the deadline, we would all still be drunk. Now, that's true, but their current second pairing right shot D had an assist in the Stanley Cup Final Game 7, and McDavid and Draisaitl and Hyman and Nuge and Bouchard had nothing. So having a second, it's still, they should have picked, you would have liked them to pick somebody up if they could have made it work financially. Simply because then maybe they don't drop the first 3 games and they win the Stanley Cup in 6.
You hate Ken Holland.
What? I thought I was just supporting Ken Holland. What is happening here? This is nuts. I guess I liked some of his moves and I absolutely hated others.
You don't even know it. And you just stepped right in it. Hey, look at how it works.
They're in a better spot now than they were when he took over. I mean, that's
Yeah.
simple. He also had a couple of major misses that have hampered.
Two things can be correct.
You can love Hyman and you can love Ekholm, but you can also be like really pissed off about the Campbell contract.
Yes.
That's just reality.
Yeah.
That's what this is. So off-season's going to be a lot of fun.
Off-season?
And I tell you, that's good to be talking about it again. Would have been nice if they had a Stanley Cup when we're talking about the offseason, but that's okay. I bet you Greg Wyshynski picks him to win next year. He's going to join us coming up just after 8:30 here. We got a sports update for Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria, the new kid on the block in the pizza game, and they're coming in big. They're coming in with 36 inches. They're coming in with 54 inches. It's very, very impressive. Eric's got more on that. Greg Wyshynski on the other side from ESPN. Weekly rankings of power still to come. The rap, sound of the day, all that fun stuff. If you're watching over on YouTube right now, hammer the thumbs up for us. We would appreciate that. And if you're not yet subbed to the channel, do that as well. Almost changing 300 likes over there today on YouTube. And you can text us, of course, anytime in the Paris Jewelers inbox. Wyshynski on the way in less than 2 minutes. Right now, a sports update with LTE, brought to you by Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. If you're hungry, they'll fill you up.
Some news and notes from around the NHL. Glenn Sather officially retiring this morning. He will no longer have a role with the Rangers or in professional hockey. The Sabres also expected to buy out the remaining 3 years of Jeff Skinner's contract, while Pavel Datsyuk, Shea Weber headlining the Hockey Hall of Fame class of 2024, both being selected their first year of eligibility. Yesterday, Jeremy Roenick finally elected. He's been on the ballot since 2012, joined by Natalie Darwitz and Chrissy Wendell-Pohl. Both David Poley and Colin Campbell also selected in the Builders category. The NHL draft scheduled to go Friday down from the Vegas Sphere. On the diamond, the Riverhawks. They made it 5 wins in a row last night, taking the series opener 2-1 over Bellingham down at Remax. Game 2 of that 3-game set goes tonight. Coverage starts at 7:05 back here on Edmonton Sports Talk, as well as the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps. Prospects also victorious. They beat Weyburn 7-4 down in Sherwood Park. Prospects have the day off. They'll remain home and host Okotoks tomorrow night. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. driving in 4. The Jays snapping a 7-game slide with a 9-4 victory over the Red Sox. Rubber match of that series gets underway later this evening. 5:10 from Boston. Yariel Rodriguez set to start for Toronto. NBA draft goes tonight. The Raptors currently holding down the 19th overall pick, which was acquired in a deal with Indiana, while the Atlanta Hawks currently selecting first overall. On the pitch yesterday, Canada with a 1-0 win over Peru, while Argentina get past Chile 1-0 in Copa America action. Canada now sits second in Group A on 3 points. They'll need a draw against Chile on Saturday to progress to the knockout round. Group stage action concluding at Euro 2024 today with 4 matches. At 10 o'clock this morning, it's all to play for in Group E. Slovakia will take on Romania. Ukraine battles Belgium. This afternoon at 1 in Group F, it'll be Georgia taking on Portugal, with Czechia up against Turkey. Sports Update brought to you by Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. BMPP is a real pizzeria restaurant, not just a delivery pizza chain, serving authentic Italian cuisine with their made-in-house pizza dough, traditional tomato sauce, and fresh toppings. Each pizza is cooked to perfection. It's a pizza experience you've been waiting for. Visit them today, 12848 97th Street. Order online, www.bmpp.ca, or give them a call, 587-746-0550.
The Nielson Show, featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
$8:34 on the Nielson Show. Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric with you. Weekly rankings of power coming up. But first, here on the Nielson Show, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Check them out, www.southfortchev.com. Taking away some time from his Alexander Mogilny in the Hall of Fame campaign, it is Greg Wyshynski. Wyshynski, I'm with you 100%, by the way, on the Mogilny thing. I don't know why it hasn't happened yet.
It's the new Pat Burns. Like, I guess you're just gonna wait until he dies, and then maybe he'll get in, like they did with Pat. It's so stupid. It's the dumbest thing. I can't explain it. I thought maybe it was a Putin, Russia, Ukraine thing, and then Datsyuk gets in.
Good point.
If it was a Putin, Russia, Ukraine thing, I think the guy who defected from the Soviet Union first to play in the NHL is probably a good guy to put in to tell that story. It's asinine. He's got the numbers. He's got the success. He should be in the Hall of Fame, and it makes you wonder like who inside the selection committee is rallying against this guy and then saying, hey, Shea Weber won gold medals on the best team Canada's ever assembled. We should put him in despite never winning a Norris on the first ballot. Like, it's insane.
Greg, you'll be forgiven too if this connection goes awry, because I believe you were on the line yesterday and didn't really get a chance to. Like, this all seems very conspiratorial here on the surface.
Well, they probably didn't know I was asking about McGillney. Maybe they did. I don't know. But like, I definitely was like waiting for my turn, and then all of a sudden they're like, "There's no more calls." I felt like Rick Westhead on an NHL conference call. I don't know what was happening, but like it's whatever. I mean, look, I thought the class was flawed. Datsuk's obviously great. I mean, he's not only one of the best defensive centers in NHL history, and obviously like the Magic Man. But if you talk to players today, there's three guys that have inspired the most of them, and it's Sid, it's Patrick Kane, and it's Pavel Datsuk. And so without question, he's a Hall of Famer. Like I said, Weber's a little early. I was really happy Roenick got in. I hate the guy. He hates me, but that's fine. It's the Hockey Hall of Fame. And if you don't recognize the fame part of it, then I don't think you're doing your job. And for an American, like there was a time when the two most famous hockey players in the world for us were Wayne Gretzky and Jeremy Roenick. And his numbers for Chicago during that time were incredible. It's not his fault that he never won a Hart when he's in the same era as Gretzky and Lemieux. I think that's fair to say. But it is his fault that he never won a cup because he made some really bad decisions, like not signing with the 2001 Detroit Red Wings and going to the Flyers instead. The other things too, real quick, the women, I'm happy we got two in finally. I just don't think they're the right two. I think I would have put in Jen Botterill and Megan Duggan. I think both of them are extremely worthy, and they're still waiting their turn. And look, I'm torn on the Colin Campbell thing because there's absolutely no question that guy had incredible influence in the National Hockey League over the last 20 to 30 years. It just may not necessarily be he's a force of good and light, and that he's on the right side of history on a lot of those decisions. But if you're looking at builders and the people who built the thing we watch, I mean, he had a remarkable influence on the rules under which the game is played in the National Hockey League and the disciplinary instruments that the league uses to suspend guys. And so I'm okay with him getting in based on that. But I'm also the guy that, published the story about the Mark Savard emails, too. So everything in moderation.
Greg Wyshynski with us from ESPN. I'm okay with Roenick getting in just based off NHL 94, the video game. I mean, when you're going to be that much of a cheat code, you're probably going to end up in the Hall of Fame someday. And he finally did.
Great player. I mean, I think, like I said, before they put Lindros in and before they put Bure in, to me, the argument for both those guys was, like shorter careers, but at the peak of their powers were the most famous hockey players in the world. And I think there's something to be said for that. So I got no problem with Roenick getting in. But again, like you said, I mean, the McGillney thing is beyond ridiculous at this point. You're the Hockey Hall of Fame. Your job is to tell the story of hockey. Not putting this guy in when he's got the numbers to get in is not telling the story of hockey.
Wyshynski, we got to get back to the Stanley Cup Final. The offseason is looming here. It's already underway. For the Oilers, it'll be a quick turnaround, no doubt about it. But, hey, you were on the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup. We gave you multiple chances to get off of it when they sucked a big one early in the year. You stuck with them. They come up just short. What did they not have in Game 7, or what did Florida do in Game 7, in your opinion, to make sure that none of the big guys could get going?
Florida's just a really good defensive team, and I think that they were going to lose Game 7, the Panthers, if it felt like the boulder was rolling down the hill and there was no way to stop it. And once Verhaeghe scored the opening goal, I think that really calmed them down. And yeah, the Oilers responded, but I think it really calmed them down. It made them feel like, okay, this is not going to be like the previous 3 games. Last time we were here, we played really well in Game 5. I just feel like they got to their game and they were confident. And there were moments in which you're watching this game, especially in the third period, and you're just like, the Oilers aren't going to be able to get the equalizer here. And the other thing too, and I think it's very appropriate that they win the cup basically on the strength of their third period defense, because that's the characteristic of this Panthers team. They were the best third period team in the playoffs. They were the best third period team in closing out games over the last 2 playoffs. That's their bread and butter. They got the lead they needed, and they just snuffed the life out of the Oilers. But the reason the Oilers lost the series is they went down 3-0. I mean, let's be honest. Like, it's really impressive, the stats of what this team does after Game 3, but when after Game 3 you're in a 3-0 hole, it becomes a lot less impressive. And so if we're doing the what did Connor and Leon learn about this postseason thing, maybe the lesson is you got to pounce on it, man. You can't play from behind as much as they did, because at the end of the day, when you are being asked to play like 8 of the final 10 minutes of a game, and also you've expended all that energy in the previous 3 games just to get back in the series, it's tough. It's tough to climb that hill.
Well, and all the energy that they would have had to put in to get back in the season after the start that they had as well, right? So
pushing a boulder
the
up.
Edmonton Oilers next year, if they could finish first in the division, are front running a little bit more as opposed to trying to grind it out for 4 or 5 months. I think that would go a long way. We were, obviously people in the city were down in the dumps yesterday beyond whatever you would ever think they would be. And there was a lot of, I don't even know, like with the division being so tough, I'm not sure they'll be able to get past the first round next year. Like they were very close. They were a bounce away from winning the Stanley Cup. So I don't even know what the true answer is to the question. But if you're looking at that roster right now and you're going, okay, well, they need a little bit more of this next season to finish the job, what do you think that answer would be?
I think I'd grab another puck move around the blue line, and I would figure out what to do with Evander Kane. Like, people didn't really talk about this at all during the series, but I mean, they're missing one of their top 6 forwards.
Yeah.
And a guy that played with Leon. And I think the perceptions of Kane as a person sometimes cloud the effectiveness of Kane as a player. And so, they missed that guy in a pretty big way. So is the surgery he's going to have, does that rectify it? Does he come back and be the player they think that he can be when he's at the peak of his powers? I don't know. But that was a really big loss. I mean, like if you took, I don't know, like Bennett or somebody off the Panthers lineup in this series, it's probably a different series. I don't know. And I know that like everybody's now turned their attention to what happens with Leon. I tend to believe that it's, unless they are like so far out of a postseason spot, then maybe you start talking about like if he leaves and do you trade him and whatever. But they're obviously going to run it back one more time with these two, and then just kind of figure it out from there.
As things transfer to the draft right away, the awards right away, free agency at the beginning of next week, which team around the league intrigues you the most?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, in the short term, probably Detroit, because they're doing something. They're
something's cooking.
To take care of their restricted free agents, but probably also they know that they have to. This is a big level up year for them, and they can't go through the offseason without like really adding to that roster. And there's a lot of the Steven Stamkos speculation because of his relationship with Yzerman. We'll see what comes of that, but I mean, it's not another own possibility. I think the Rangers are really fascinating. They are going to have to respond to coming up short again. Here in New York, there's a ton of speculation about Jacob Trouba and his future with the team. They have a spot on the line with Chris Kreider and Mika Zibanejad that could go in a number of different directions. Could it be Gensel? Could it be Patrick Kane again? Could it be somebody else? The one thing I'll say about this offseason that I was thinking about this morning is already we've seen deals and transactions that were rumored at the deadline now finally happen. Ullmark to the Senators, Markstrom to the Devils. I wonder how many of these things that came close now happen, like Gensel to the Rangers, like Elias Lindholm to the Bruins, like all these things that were kind of in the ether that didn't end up happening. I wonder if they do end up happening now that these guys are unrestricted free agents.
Greg, I just wanted to get your thoughts on switching gears here. Off season, you got a piece you said you tweeted out on Fanatics jerseys coming out later today. Without giving away too much, I know a few people were asking this morning as well about jerseys and that sort of thing. I mean, we are entering into that time. So what can people expect from this piece? I know you've used the word dope as a descriptor, so it's got me kind of up in my chair a bit.
The Winter Classic and Four Nations jerseys, from what I've heard, are pretty cool. And I heard a little bit about the Four Nations jerseys, and I think that's really going to be the first place where you see Fanatics kind of put their stamp on things from a design standpoint. The NHL told me that we're going to see a ton of new designs and maybe logos in 25, 26. That's kind of the target date. Let Fanatics get into this thing, get their feet wet, not freak out people by changing a lot. The Ducks and the Kings are both grandfathered in. because their design process started even before the NHL made the deal with Fanatics. The two things that I'll mention, one is that the NHL has been candid about taking shrapnel from the controversy that Nike had with the MLB jerseys falling apart. That was not a Fanatics problem. They've been exonerated. It was a Nike problem. And but the NHL definitely, felt the heat when everybody was kind of like putting the blame on Fanatics, and we're not exactly pleased about it. But I think that they ultimately think it was handled well by them. And the other thing is, I'm extremely excited. I don't know if people realize this, but Adidas stopped selling true authentic jerseys, like stitched on fighting strap jerseys. Like you couldn't buy one for a very long time. And Fanatics is running it back. Like, they're made in the same factory with the same hand stitching as the ones the players wear. We're going to be able to buy those again. And I don't know about you boys, but like the second jersey I ever owned was an authentic Claude Lemieux CCM with the fighting strap in the back. And it was like point of pride to go to school and see somebody with a jersey and be like, does yours have a fighting strap? And if it didn't, you're just like, well, mine's realer than yours. And I always thought about how cool that is. And I'm happy that they're making them again.
My second jersey I ever had was a Saku Koivu. Didn't really require the fight strap, but still I love that jersey.
Some more than others.
I love that jersey, man.
Well,
God.
I think they see it more as a play for collectors who definitely desire those jerseys more than anyone. But I think there's a market for it. I think that they're going to have 3 different price points. They're going to have like the authentic fighting strap stitched ones. They're going to have really good replicas, and they're going to have the breakaway jerseys, which are the cheaper model. So I'm happy that they've listened to fans that were hoping to have that come back. While also creating other categories for people to buy their stuff. Who knows what they end up looking like? Who knows what the durability is going to be? The players and the PA seem pretty happy with them so far, but we were pretty happy with a lot of jerseys from new makers before they actually hit the ice. I mean, what was it? Who was it? Reebok? That was like, we made a jersey that absorbs water, and all the players were like, yeah, and now we weigh 500 pounds.
Just soaked. Absolutely soaked.
Get rid of them. And then they got rid of them. So who knows?
I know it's going to be a busy time here for you, but what do you got coming down the pipe? What's the plan over at ESPN?
Oh, just tons of coverage of, anything that happens at the draft from a transaction standpoint. We'll grade it, the trades, and, free agent frenzy day is a full day. And then, obviously we have a really talented crew that'll be on the draft, including Rachel Dory, who's become sort of our draft insider, and she's fantastic. But I'm looking forward to July 2nd because I'm taking paternity leave, finally. I had a newborn in January, spent 2 weeks with her, and then said, I'll see you in the summer. And and so, like, I feel like an honorary Canadian this year, where on July 2nd, I'll take a picture of a margarita and be like, I'll see you guys in September.
Off to the cottage. Off to the cottage. Yeah. Well, Greg, I'll say this then. Enjoy the time with your family, man, and we'll reconnect with you in September or something.
Absolutely, boys. It was great doing this. And again, like, we came close. We came so close to having it come true.
I can't wait for your prediction in September, man. I can't wait for it to be like, he's running it back again. Unbelievable.
And thanks to all the listeners who have reached out, and tweeted John Wick gifts at me since the whole thing when they were losing. Like, I really loved this ride with you guys and with the Oilers. And then, obviously, for my pick in September, I'll just pick wherever they trade Leon.
Oh, God. Get out of here. Get out of here. We'll talk to you later, man. There you go. That's Greg Wyshynski from ESPN. Paternity leave. What a time to be alive. Paternity
him,
leave.
yeah.
Man. That's incredible. That's awesome. You know what else is wild?
I think the Wyshynski curse now, obviously, from Edmonton fans. Like Saravelli did it too 1 year. He picked them to win, and you cursed them. You jinxed them. What are you going to do? You pick against them. You're not a fan. You pick them and you curse them. Like
after the 17 run, which used to be special because they got to the second round. Now the expectations are different. Wow. I remember Frank sitting in our studio picking them to win that year.
You guys were coming at him.
And
how dare you?
That's tough.
It's like you in Holland.
Same thing.
You can't win for losing here.
How about Tommy Gazzola? Tommy the Wrench rolling in ahead of Matty Iwanek.
He's got everything set up, and he's sitting there, too.
Unbelievable. Look at that. He's all relaxed, ready to go. Hang out at 10 o'clock today. All right. You got your weekly rankings?
Yeah, I do.
Let's do it.
Ready to go. Let's do it.
Let's get into the weekly rankings of power with Lieutenant Eric, brought to you by The Ranch. If you've not yet played the Ranch Golf and Country Club this year, what are you even waiting for? Premier conditions, top-notch service, unmatched value. Oh. It's a great choice for your next round. Book tee times by visiting ranchgolf.com. We'll be at the ranch. What? Did I say 10? Oh, sorry, man. Oh, man. What did I say 10? Sorry, guys. I'm so fired up for it. The hangout is at 9 o'clock. I didn't even realize
he said TSN earlier, too.
I did drop a TSN 1260 today. Yeah, I know. It was wild. It was wild.
And where can people find you on Twitter again, just quickly? If we,
At Nielson TSN 1260. I got to update. It's been a year.
Well, it's been a year now.
I just don't know what to call it. I don't know what to do with it. But you know what?
Summer project.
PowerPoint. Let's PowerPoint.
Bracket.
My next Twitter handle.
Field of 64.
That's not bad, actually, either.
I think a bracket. There could be.
That'd be tough.
You could even open it up.
I still think Nielson ESTSN.
Yeah. A bracket you'd get settled with
The
something.
T works for both.
Sexy 69.
That'd be something. What's your new Twitter
Spelled
handle,
out.
Dusty? Sexy69. Find me over there. All right, let's get into weekly rankings of power. What are you ranking, buddy?
Oilers offseason to-do list.
Whoa,
and again, I did take a peek at your tweet, which is very nice, and obviously on Twitter, everybody's got the best ideas. But a few of my own, a few that I had prior to the tweets, so I just want to say this isn't a plagiarism weekly rankings of power brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club, but it is one. Oilers offseason to-do list. Of course, you can play along, text in, get in the nasty chat. Probably more things than 10 to do. But let me know if I missed anything.
All right, let's do it. Number 10.
Name a GM. I think you have to start. Well, no, but you got to know.
You got to have something.
You wake up in the morning, you put your pants on before your shoes, right? So you kind of got to, do what you do, and so name a GM. I think first.
All right, number
Who
9.
do you think it is? 780-218-9999. Number 9, recover from injuries or stick everyone on the LTIR.
Yeah. I would LTIR Draisaitl, McDavid all of next season.
Yeah.
What do they gain from another regular season outside of individual awards? LTIR those guys, McDavid abdominal, Draisaitl finger and rib.
Kane,
they get the
the
whole
whole bit.
season off.
Yeah.
They're as fresh as they come.
Buy another team.
And it's allowed. It's allowed. Number 8.
Enjoy the wedding. I think you got to take some time. That's what an off season is for, to unplug at some point if you can, and to just live the life. It gets the juices flowing again. They'll be dancing, twirling. Skinner will wear his hat.
I like that one. He will wear a hat to that wedding, won't he?
The big
for sure.
Yeah, the brimmed hat.
Number 7.
Bring back Clem Costin.
We
Maybe higher on most people's list, I would say.
will get a lot of those text messages in the offseason, 100%. Number 6.
Banish Brett Kissel. I think it's time to kind of, put this thing.
Well, you know who
I
is,
think we're done here.
He didn't sing, but he was there in Game 7.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, him, Drake,
Number 5.
Come to terms with Darnell Nurse and accept he's here for good. And I had that before you read that tweet that somebody said to you. And that's a thing. I think we're going to have to come to a moment here.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
No, and you can critique him and all these things, but it's not going to happen.
And when he's on, he's great. Just needs to be on a little bit more.
Yeah. Or keeping it simple.
Number 4.
A package deal leveraged by South Fort Chev to bring back Janmark Brown Henrique.
Good. You get
The accessories.
Accessories are 15% off.
Yeah, so so maybe, hey.
All right. They need to go.
Third
that's what I
party,
wanna
they
see.
acquire them and sell them back to the Oilers 50% off.
I want to see whoever the new GM is rolling to South Fort Chev. Say, hey, Daniel from South Fort Chev. I'm here to get 15% off of all of my accessories.
I hear you.
What type of
Janmark Brown
accessories
Henrique.
are you looking at? Bottom 6 forwards. That's what we're looking
Bam.
at.
15.
A South Fort Chev off season. What a time to be alive. All right, number 3.
Extend Leon.
Man, what's going to be higher on the list than extend Leon? I'm very interested by this.
Well, and I think, again, just for the spirits of the fan base, that would be nice if you rolled him out. Here it is. We watch him sign it.
Number 2.
Hire David Blaine to make Jack Campbell disappear.
Yeah.
I think that'd be nice. Well, I think it'd be such a depressing, him coming in and everything happening. I think this would kind of, it'd be fun for everybody. He could bring his cat. You'd put him in a big box downtown. Blaine would throw a big cover over the box. He takes the cover off, and then it's just a pile of money that Campbell had, the $5 million.
It would be
face painting and everything.
Or you remove the thing, and the box has 2 other players in it.
Anything.
Like, by God, it's Chris Tanev.
I think even if there was air in there, you'd be like, okay, it's good.
That's a good one. You know what? If they do end up moving Jack Campbell somehow, one way or the other, they should do a funny social media post where they actually do that. They would never do it, but that would be hilarious.
Cat's out of the bag.
Like
something with a cat.
Daryl Cates can afford to get one of these all-time magicians and have some fun with it.
You have some fun with it, exactly.
Yeah. Have some fun with yourself. Laugh at yourself. It's important.
Self-deprecation.
Look at the shirt I'm wearing today. It's okay to laugh at yourself. All right, and number one.
The number one for the Oilers' offseason to-do list, tell Corey Perry to sign for a competitive team out east that has a chance at making it to the Stanley Cup Finals.
That is a good one.
Yeah, maybe that's the play after all.
Corey Perry needs to sign with the Rangers or Hurricanes immediately.
And then McDavid hands him the cup in a Rangers jersey because he helped the curse, and they will
tough one for Corey Perry, eh?
Well, that's...
Oh, well, I mean, considering the way things ended with him on his last team, to get to go into a Stanley Cup Final.
Oh, that's
Belsey, what's up,
pretty
buddy?
lucky, yeah. I'd say that's good fortune.
So, yeah, it worked out okay, I guess, for him.
I think so.
All right, there you go. Weekly Rankings of Power brought to you by The Ranch, where we will be a week from today for the $100,000 hole-in-one for Golf Town. You have another chance to qualify for the $100,000 hole-in-one on the Hangout, which starts at 9 o'clock this morning, or whenever we wrap up. Just kidding. Belsey, Tommy, Maddie, all locked and loaded.
I think
ready
Mr.
to go.
Millard as well will be gracing us
Shut
with his
up.
presence. Oh,
Millard's in today, too? A Millard, Belsey, Maddie, Tommy hangout? That's better than our show today. That's pretty impressive. That's going to be great. I'll be happening at 9 o'clock. I'll be at the Argyle Boston Pizza, starting with the Lock Shop at 11. We'll have the Oil Stream at noon. So swing on by Argyle BP's for lunch. Come on in. Get yourself a half brute. Right? You don't need the full brute at lunchtime. Get yourself a half brute.
You split a brute with a listener, eh?
You know what?
Well, that'd be something, eh?
I'd love to split a brute with a listener. It'd be good. No onions, though. All right, let's get into the wrap for William Huff. If you want your place to look great with good stuff, find the people at William Huff. www.williamhuff.com. Go see Bruce and his team. They're working on some tailgate stuff for us. Can't wait to see how that looks. Trev and Zach are just going to be the prom of the queen down at the tailgate. Or the queen of the prom down at the tailgate. It'll be great. All right, what'd you learn on the show today, Rick?
Slats hanging him up, eh?
And Skinner,
yeah, Jeff Skinner.
The other
Buyout
Skinner,
3 years. Slather retiring. Yeah, some jersey news from Wyshynski. I mean, we also learned and we got to re-listen and relive some of the songs of this run, which was quite nice, actually, to kind of kick off the show. I know, look, this is the 10 stages of it all, and people, I think, in the Nasty Chat, some are crying, some couldn't take it, but I think it's important to go through all these things and learn them. And again, a very quick off-season, so this thing will keep going. Like, I don't even view this really as, this is not really an off-season at all anyways. This is, again, it's a break, it's a breather. Connor will go off and get married, they're going to come right back, and bingo bango.
All Connor needed to do to win the Stanley Cup was become a married man. You know what he needs? He needs to bang out a baby right away as well, because then he gets that dad strength, right? Except don't schedule the baby for next spring.
Plan this properly.
Like the last thing you need is Game 3. McDavid's not available tonight because his child's being born back in Edmonton. Right? That would be a tough one to get to as well. There he is. Dino
you need that
Millard.
quacking.
Dino, what's up,
when
buddy?
his show started?
He's loving that. That's good. All right, so let's get to your sound of the day today. We want to get that hang. It's going to be a great day. We got to get there. Let's go back to the me on the plane today. Oh, hang on. Let me bring that up.
The unsaltedness makes me choke. Get me a soda with some ice in it.
Yeah,
you got to try it at least once.
I got to try the get me some soda with some ice in it. Like,
and a look around, you know, like I one person in the back's got to know. I'd love that.
Excuse me, sir. Would you like anything to drink? Get me a soda with some ice in it. Somebody in the back's got to be like,
"What's that?"
Oh, it loves it, mama. That's a good one. All right, text of the day today. We had some good Macramalla intros. This one, I don't know if it's going to win text of the day, but it did just come in. This Jay guy in the Nasty Chat, or in the Parachuters inbox says, the Hockey Hall of Fame to Alexander McGillney.
Get away from me, you horse's ass.
Love it.
I think that's text of the day. Is that not text of the day?
We weren't even asking for the toss moment from
that was great.
So.
I mean, you come out of nowhere with that.
Yeah.
We had a lot of great Macramalla intros today. Any one of them could have justified winning text of the day. But to slide in with the text of the day on a Macramalla intro day and steal it late, Jay, congratulations. Jay in the Parachuters
Jay
inbox.
from Kamloops.
The Hall of Fame to McGillney.
Get away from me, you horse's ass.
Oh, that's good.
Great play.
Congratulations. Text of the day for A&W, where they got the two juicy mamas right now for $9.99. All right, what are you watching tonight?
Well, there's a lot of action on the pitch, all to play for this morning. Group stage action wraps up at the Euros, and then later tonight, a little Copa America as well. Outside of that, I mean, Riverhawks are back on EST tonight. They've won 5 in a row, I do believe. Looking for game 6 in a row, a win 6 in a row. Bellingham Bells, the very team that we had our night last year against, right? The Bellingham Bells with the Bell Media.
Oh, that was funny.
So and the Bells are actually behind the Riverhawks in the standings, so it's like 2v3 in the North. So game 2 of that 3-game series tonight from Remax. Of course, if you can't make it down to the field, we've got you covered here on Edmonton Sports Talk 7:05. Riverhawks and Bells in West Coast League action, and Jays and Red Sox as well. The rubber match. Jays got in the win column yesterday.
I'll be in Vancouver tonight. I'm not sure what I'll be watching, but you know what? I was in where was I last week? Winnipeg. I was in Winnipeg last weekend, and the hotel TV did not work the entire time, and I didn't call anybody to get it fixed. I was just like, I guess I just won't watch TV. Like the channel would come up, but no video. It said it was on AMC, gone in 60 seconds. I was like, perfect. Video didn't come up, but I don't like bothering people. So I just watched stuff on my iPad while I prepped.
Yeah, more like gone in 0 seconds with the picture, right?
Exactly. More like gone right now.
Gone.
Really frustrating. All right, that's going to do it for our show today. Rick and, is it Jay tomorrow, Gager the next day, something like that?
Something
the
like
boys
that,
in. There'll be a lot of fun.
Affiliate.
I'll be in Vancouver to call that Elks-Lions game tomorrow. Should be a very entertaining
That'll be a
football game.
banger.
I think it's going to be a real fun football
Well, then
game.
follow it up with Friday Night Football, Montreal-Toronto, Battle of the Unbeatens out east, too. Like
Friday night football tonight.
2 great games to kick off the week.
That should be nice as well. And Calgary-Winnipeg's a huge game on Saturday, too. CFL, man, firing on all cylinders right now. I absolutely love it. For YouTube, Trev, I know you're down in the dump still, but maybe we should shave your beard live on the show one day. You're gonna keep the beard? I think the beard looks nice.
No, I'm getting rid of it.
You're getting rid of it?
Immediately. Well,
then you're going to look like 16 years old again.
16-year-old Trev.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
got to go, man. I can't stand this thing. It's tough. I looked at myself in the mirror yesterday. I'm like, you're a mess. I'm like, who are you?
Who are you?
Who are
It's
you?
terrible.
All right, that's going to do it for us. The hangout starting as soon as we're done here. Maddie, Tommy, Belzy, Dean Millard, great hangout coming up. Make sure you stick around. That's brought to you by 2 Hoots Hard Iced Tea, the best in the biz for sure. For YouTube, Trev, Lieutenant Eric, I am Dustin Nielsen. A huge shout out to our presenting sponsor of the Nielsen Show at South Fort Chevrolet. Go see Daniel. Tell him we sent you. They'll give you 15% off accessories for your new ride. I'll talk to you from Boston Pizza, the Argyle Boston Pizza with the Lock Shop at 11 o'clock. Take it easy.